Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. Disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. My doctor's in theology. I do not provide medical advice. My interests include a variety of metaphysical subjects such as philosophy, Moorish science, Reiki healing, crystals, holistic health, astrology, and numerology, as well as art, writing, and more. I'm the founder of House of Reawakening Minds, a published author, a former pastor and local TV talk show host, and a retired local government housing director. Last but not least, I am a wife, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. And now that you know something about me, let's talk about the show. The goal of this podcast is to bring you information, confirmation, and liberation. Information from myself and my informative guests about people, places, and things you either didn't know or had never considered. Confirmation about things you may have encountered or thought, but were afraid to delve into, take seriously, or share with others for fear of rejection. And liberation from having to conform to the status quo and groupthink. Office Hours with Dr. G is here to assist you in knowing thyself and the wonderful universe you're part of. My philosophy is when you know thyself, you can heal yourself. Now, I'd like to give special thanks and recognition to Brother Hassan Ghaziel Bey for collaborating with me in the writing, performing, and engineering of my theme song, Dr. G. It's catchy, isn't it? I know y'all gonna find yourself singing it after this, because that's the way it was playing. Tonight, I'm pleased to welcome Mia and Antonio Bey, co-owners of 720 Blends. Theirs is not just a story of a successful business partnership, rather an emotional tale of a motivated young couple in a fairly new relationship who ended up dealing with a year spent in captivity and forced separation for standing on their squares. Yet they were able to emerge as stronger, healthier, more complete 360-degree individuals who are now 720 blended soulmates on a mission to bring holistic, emotional, and energetic health and well-being to others. Mia and Antonio, I want to welcome you to Office Hours with Dr. G. And I am excited. I'm excited to have the two of you as guests, especially since I've spent so many hours over the last couple of weeks getting to know you two. Welcome to the show.
Much love. Thank you so much for having us. We just want to acknowledge all of the ancestors, our close ancestors, unknown ancestors, and we also want to acknowledge the master teachers and scholars that help us on our journey, giving us confirmations in our life experience.
Well, you all have an amazing company, 720 Blends, and I, of course, came up with why I, think the two of you called it 720 Blends. With you kind of were like, okay, Dr. G, if that sounds like you've been in touch with your higher self. But but it's great to have you two on the show. I was on a couple of days ago. I had mixed, I think it was the butterfly tea and
butterfly water,
butterfly water. I want to call it butterfly pea. I keep messing it up. I want to say blue and whatever, but it was the butterfly water and the bamboo teas. See, I was drinking earlier. I earlier today, sitting here in my office, I was drinking the new one that I just got called Release, and I drank it all. I drank it all, and I decided that since I was going to be on the air for like 2 hours, there was no way that I could drink tea.
Yeah.
And not say, not put my 2 fingers up or whatever, one finger up and say, excuse me, y'all. Because, but this tea, your company, 720 Blends, is fairly new. Tell us a little bit about your company and how you got started. We're going to get into the other stuff that I talked about, because I know that there probably people are interested in your story, particularly as Moors and what you were able to endure. But let's talk about 720. We're going to put 720 Blends on at the beginning and at the end. But in the middle, we'll talk about, that experience that you all had for about a year, and I'm going to open up, to make sure I can see the Islam. Okay. Yeah. So tell us about 720 Blends.
Did you want to go first, Bey?
No, you can go.
So basically it's kind of like we had just launched 720 Blends on November the 19th, but prior to our captivity, we were, on the vegan movement, changing our diet, holistic methods, reading up about like not only long history, but also about like electrical magnetic frequencies, about chips that they put in food, about different, salts and chemical compounds that they use to poison people. Mm-hmm. So it was we actually went to a lecture that was at Everlasting Life in the territory of Maryland. And we ran into a brother and he was like, you need check out Dr. Sebi. So we did our research and we were like, oh my goodness, we were still eating meat. We weren't even vegetarian or pescatarian or anything. Mm-hmm. And basically we started on this whole Dr. Sebi movement, which is very, very strict. You can't eat really anything, no hybrid foods, no sugar. So from going to eating meat, going all the way to like cutting out almost everything, even some vegetables, it was pretty extreme, but it took us into a whole journey of like kind of getting to know ourselves, getting to know more about health, and like literally experiencing ourselves changing in our thinking. Mm-hmm. And watching how our thoughts were clearer, our communication was better between each other, and it just overall improved a lot of areas. Did you have anything you wanted to add about that?
You're on point.
So it's funny because before we decided to do the herbs, we were talking about doing food because we did all these different vegan recipes or whatever. We can heal people through food. So it's really interesting because a lot of people don't look at food as medicine. And for us, it was medicine because I used to think that I had allergies and I ate dairy and I also drank alcohol. And I eat a lot of sugar too. So every morning for the first 3 hours of my morning, I was just blowing my nose. For years, I always bought boxes of tissues in the morning and I always had them. And for 3 hours in the morning, I would just be blowing my nose. And it became, just normal. It was just normal to me. I was just like, oh, well, I have allergies, but all year round. So, the minute that I cut that out, that's when I really started seeing that it actually wasn't any of those things. It was the food that I was putting in my body was really making me sick. So that's pretty much how.
Yeah. It was definitely the dairy, that dairy that was creating mucus in the body, mm-hmm. which was causing the symptoms of allergies,
Right. But you also mentioned sugar. Because I know that sugar is just as bad as, like probably cocaine or something. I mean,
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So processes to the body, it's exactly the same. So, we were finding out all of these new things and it was mind blowing,
like they put sugar in cigarettes,
Yeah, just sugar in everything.
Sugar in cigarettes.
Yeah, they put, it's in everything. It's things that it's not even necessary. So we were like, wow, this is really one of the main ways that they're poisoning people is through sugar. So that was a big step, but it's just crazy because you could see not only physically, really your like mental process and how much quicker you are in your responses and in your thinking and your clarity. And it's just like you start to see how you're realigning yourself back. Right. And the laws, the universal laws of nature.
So you all were doing research as you had come together in a fairly new relationship at the time. But when we talk about as much as I've spoken with the two of you and how you all just, you have sort of such a synergistic relationship, even though that relationship was new in this incarnation, and more than likely, and I don't know whether you all have touched on this or even figured that you've been together in other lifetimes, in other, because I really think to go through what you all went through and to come out like you did and to remain, for the relationship not only to remain intact, but I would assume it strengthened rather than weakened, because, you know, a lot of times when people are separated from one another, you know, and then when we talked, Mia, apparently Antonio was fairly new in claiming his nationality and birthright, and you knew nothing originally. You knew nothing about being a Moor, and so you get in this new relationship, and what happens? So you begin to.
Yeah, so basically he started, there was a lot of there was like some arguing in the beginning of our relationship, but I was bartending. So I drank alcohol like all the time, you know, that's just how it is in the industry.
Right.
So I'm sure that played a part, but it was like he was trying to tell me, you know, I wasn't black and all of this.
What you mean I'm not black?
Definitely.
And I'm like, who is this guy? You know, it's only been a week. He's trying to tell me I'm not black. Like, what is he talking about? Because I came from a background of like, I was really, really into the Black Panthers history.
Okay.
So I studied that and I read different books about it, like Soul on Ice, Erica Brown, A Taste of Power, and stuff like that. And I was really into that. And I had even went to some protest and all of that. So for him to come and like try to tell me I was black, I was like, I don't know what this guy is talking about. And it was so funny. He kept trying to show me Tashreeq Bey's videos. And, you know, those videos are lengthy. I'm like, I don't have the attention span. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, I want to watch Real Housewives. That's how I was, for real. Like, it's crazy because, like, we don't watch TV at all unless it's something metaphysical now.
But at the time, you were caught up in the Matrix.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But even though I knew about history, about who we were, that we weren't who we weren't. I still was in the Matrix, and I didn't even realize that. You know, I was in the. You know, you still playing a part. But we actually seen how television can influence your relationship,
especially for him.
Yeah, as you watching those TV shows, and you're like, hold up, you know, they implanting seeds in your mind. You know,
he actually got angry off an episode, and it cost all. But that just goes to show you he's very, very sensitive to energy, like very. And like people usually are this when they're a child, it doesn't carry on until their adulthood when they like get kind of thrown off course. It doesn't carry on like that, but it's always been with him. He's always been very sensitive. So like I would really, even in my kind of like unconscious awake, you know, I was coming into my awakening. I noticed how sensitive he was, and we would watch certain stuff and he would start looking at me like, because, you know, all the shows are like women and men arguing and something shady going on. He would start
a lot of sexuality that's not healthy, just, you know, kind of more alluring or whatever.
Exactly.
Sex, drugs, and money.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
No vibrational.
But we learn, I mean, but still, like, it's really interesting to see how like celestial influence really do play out, because we both have this like kind of restrictive, like we have a lot of Capricorn placement. So we were very disciplined in deciding that we were going to quit. Like once me and him, all our decisions have always been linked, if that makes sense. So like he was smoking cannabis and it was doing things that were not good for him. And I was drinking alcohol and it was having terrible effects as well. So we came to a meeting and we're like, you know what? Neither one of us, this is affecting our relationship. It's obviously, we know for a fact it's affecting our lives because we've been doing it before we met each other. So it's like, okay, we really want to learn. I don't have time. We don't have time to just be doing all this smoking and drinking when we're trying to study and learn more about our birthrights, especially since we're so behind and we're playing catch up. You know, a lot of the lectures and stuff that we were looking at in the books, they were written. Some of the books were written in the 1800s. The lectures were written in like 2000. I mean, were posted in like 2000, some in the 90s. So it's like we're behind. We're like looking at this like, oh my gosh, we're so behind. You know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna bring it back to self. As far as we started out just enhancing our own bodies, you know, trying to learn more and study, and you know, so we were going to have a food truck, like she said, because we were making all different. We make our own milk, own cheese, own, you know.
Yep, cheese, products. Milk, crepes, vegan crepes, all different types. So we were having a blast.
And so then we wind up running into herbs and how they actually heal the body.
And that was life-changing too, because now you get a whole nother aspect of things that have like a higher content of iron and minerals based upon like, you know, what they're doing with the food. It just took it to the next level. So, and we still to this day, you know, we're doing our studying. We have some projects that we're working on that we're going to be launching soon for the people, for healing purposes. But the main thing about us that, well, especially for me, I can say for me, is that when you really start, when I started studying and doing all these things about history and law, I was really just on a physical level with it. And the longer I've gone along, it's become so more, it has so much more depth. And so like just learning more about my energies, about myself, about how I'm in my own way a lot of the times, about how I create situations, and just the power of the mind, and the power of the thought, and the power that I have, and how I need to learn how to balance my energies. So it's really been a journey from A to B, you know, like almost all over the world, but really you're just going back to yourself. And sometimes you kind of like, you know, you get a little lost. Even when you're in the consciousness, you can get caught up in a conscious program, as I would call it, because you have people that have these programs now, because the, you know, the information is flowing. So people are trying to control it.
Right.
So you can get caught up in it sometimes. And it just teaches you how you have to stay in the present moment and aware of yourself. You know, because energy is magnetic.
You're right. And you know, I do know that as a Reiki practitioner, but I want to go back to your point you just made about the conscious movement, because it's not a one size fits all. And what I've seen over my 9 years of evolving consciousness, and I call it evolving because, you know, it seems like every day something new comes in, and what I thought or believed to be completely true yesterday is not exactly the thing that holds true for today. And so we have to be open to evolving, and we have to be open to the fact that not everyone has all of the answers, and that some of the pieces of the missing puzzle have to be found by you yourself have to find those. And a lot of times we kind of put, I don't know if you agree, we tend to put those our trust in others to the extent that they're gonna spoon feed us everything that we need, and once we get that from them, then everything is going to magically work out right, because, you know, this is an authority.
Right.
So I found that a lot of people get caught up in nationality and birthright to the extent that they forget the rest of who they are. You know, it's almost like discovering that I'm a female, and my whole life now is evolving and revolving around I'm a woman. And I just disregard everything else that I came here to do. And, you know, and I see that in a lot of people, and I try to say, you know, like and I hear a lot of things and I realize I can't do it all. I may be interested in it. I love the fact that you all can go out and identify herbs and put these blends together after you've identified and researched and so forth, and really make something that others can benefit from. And while I like that, I don't see myself doing the same thing, but I see myself benefiting from the fact that that's one of your passions.
Right.
You know what I mean? My passion is to drink tea and your passion may be making it and drinking it. So, you know, and I'm not mad, because I do some things that probably other people don't do. And I see too many people sometimes trying to be, you know, Jackies and Jacks and Jackies of all trades, and masters and misters. I call masters and mistresses of none. But when you can hone in on your skill set and why you came, because we all came with purpose, you know what I mean? And sometimes we miss it, and then we come back with eyes and heart and mind open in another incarnation, and then we get it. You know, maybe you dabbled in, maybe you all were herbalists, you know, in another lifetime. You know, maybe you were, you know, chefs or whatever. Maybe you provided healing in another lifetime, and maybe, you know, sometimes we have to come back and perfect some things that, you know, basically, I think we volunteer to come. So
absolutely, yeah.
Obviously you could look down through the annals of time and say there's going to be a need for what we have, and so we'll go back.
yeah, definitely.
Right, obviously. And that's what it's really everything that you're touching based on is like synchronistic, because the road that we're going down, you know, we're still studying, but we've done the research and we've done the study on ourselves to find out that healing is not only in my bloodline, but a part of different lifetimes.
Okay.
It's part of me. And even in my chart, it's like all centered in one area. I have all these planets in one area, and it's in health. So,
definitely.
you know, it's a part of my divine purpose to be doing that. But it's
And-
like, you know, I mean, the divine purpose is so important, but it's like, what I find is like, no matter what I read, what I'm learning is, because I'm one of those people that like, I need to read, you know, I need to read and I need to be doing something. I need to be working. I'm like a worker bee. So sometimes I really have to check myself, because a lot of the times I'm reading these books and I'm getting information, but I'm not getting the information that I can gain for myself. So meditation has been a powerful tool for me to really get revelations and answers about stuff that I read that, you know, I try to like consume or just kind of, you know, I'm tossing it in there, reading, but I need time to digest, because a lot of the times I have answers. It's in the DNA, like all the answers I have. And I think I had said to you before that a book is only reminding us something that we already know, or even each other. Like when we talk to each other, we're just reminding each other of something that we already know, but we're here to help each other remember.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh,
So go. Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna let you go. You might want to add to what Mia said.
Well, I was just going to speak on about about, you know, our journey in the beginning as well.
Okay.
Like, so we were studying law and history and different food, you know, what we put into our body, the vibrations of acidic foods and alkaline, you know, alkaline foods or alkaline foods. And yeah, so
that's all you want to add, baby? Okay. I hope I didn't say too much, because you know, when we share a mind and when we were away from each other, like, could not believe, like, our writings would be exactly the verbatim the same.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like sometimes, like, if I don't let him talk, you know, I say it, and then it's like
somebody already
it's
said
already said.
And it's that's synchronicity, and like you said, you share so much. I told you I woke up about 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days ago. I don't know what it was, and I was, you know, trying to figure out how I would describe you all, and I must have asked the question in my sleeping time, because I woke up with it on my mind, and my higher self said to me that you all went through a process, which we're going to talk about, went through a process and became whole individually. Too often people are saying, I'm looking for my better half, or I'm looking for, you know, the person that completes me, and there's fractures and they're not complete in themselves. And my higher power said, you too, the process and a journey that you took separately was a completion period, that you were 360 when you came back together. And that's what made your 720 blend such a unique, you know, combination. And I was like, well, wow. So I couldn't wait to get to you, because I ask you what made you all decide to call the company 720 Blends, because I'd gotten this download of information that you had gone through a process individually of becoming a whole person. So often we want to give ourselves to somebody, and we're 50% or 70% or even less, depending on what our life experiences has been. And then we expect that other person to make us whole, but then they're coming, you know, with fractures and pieces missing. And all you are two, you know, half people. And it always needs to work in its best, two wholes. 360.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that's why I heard this quote. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. You know?
Absolutely.
And that was definitely the journey, as far as like being into, you know, being in jail, like literally, and not even expecting it, but just going there and like going through the process of like emotions and feelings about a lot of stuff. And it's so crazy, because every time that I talk about this, people they think they're surprised I even say the stuff that I say, because for me, the days that I was there were, I was like the most protected I felt in my whole entire life from like, you know, family and friends and like society and like whatever, because I'm like in my own world, you know, just meditating. And I was by myself in my cell. So I didn't have any roommates, you know, any prisoners that were in the cell with me. I was by myself. So I was just meditating.
Let's since you brought it up about being in prison, that's a good segue. Let's go back to prior to prison and what led to, you know, we always say being kidnapped as Moors, we're kidnapped.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So let's go back. Let's rewind the story.
Rewind the tape.
Yeah, rewind the tape, and you tell us what happened, because I know people are going to like, yeah, what were they in prison for?
Yeah. So like she said, I won't tell everything, but so let's say, so we met. I told her that she wasn't Black. So then
good for you.
You know, so we did our research, you know, with the Black laws dictionaries and etymology dictionaries. And so we went on a journey of studying, like finding out about ourselves. We did research every single day, 7 days a week, every single day for a whole entire year before we made any moves.
It wasn't a whole year, but go ahead. It was intense study.
Time doesn't exist. But, intense study. And we decided to.
So basically, we decided to go forward with claiming our property.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the property that we claimed was, I want to say the name of the real estate, I might not be pronouncing it wrong, was Sobeys International or something like that.
Sotheby's.
Yeah, something like
that's
that.
What it was.
But one property was
one property was vacant, and one was the real estate. And we sent them the information. We gave them, I think, 2 weeks to respond. The other property was vacant, but we just sent it as like, you know, just to cover ourselves. But that was like after. So after we didn't get a response from them, we sent them a default judgment. And then we went and tried to went to the house to go change the locks. And basically there was like an alarm. The door was wide open, but there was like an alarm or something that had went off. So we went outside because we were alarmed. And then basically the lady ended up showing up there. So she had like all the doors open or whatever. And we were talking to her. And it was like, honestly, it was like the way that I'm talking to you right now is the conversation we was having with her. It was a Caucasian real estate agent. And
we let her know that we sent her documentation.
Mm-hmm. And then basically after that, she was on the phone with her husband. Her husband just told her to call the police because she was asking us to leave. And we were just like, no, like we sent you the paperwork. And so the police came and we stayed.
The constables showed up.
Right. So we stayed. And then what happened? We were just showing, we actually had our documents with us. So we were showing them the documents. We're like, listen, we sent this and blah, blah, blah.
And that's when we knew, later on, we found out that you do not talk to them. To the lower level constables, you get the supervisor.
Right. So we had pieces. That piece was definitely something that was missing. So anyway, there were some actual Moors there that were constables. So basically
they're the worst ones.
Right. They are actually the worst ones. And the one guy that was there, he was trying to make the situation worse with like his tone and his sound and his vibration that he was putting out. He was trying to stir up something. And the other brother was kind of looking like, oh no, like they actually are in the right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was like a few other European constables that were there too. It was more European constables.
Yeah. More and more started showing up. And
so they were
to the location.
Sorry. So the brother was going to let us, they were like, okay, just go, like deal with this with the courts or whatever. So we're about to walk out the door and they're like, hold on. Right. 2 guys show up in blue shirts, like a darker blue shirt. So they were different ranking officers. I want to say it was like a sergeant.
Yeah, it could have been their supervisors.
Right.
And they showed up with the husband.
Right. The husband walked in with them.
Yeah.
So once they got there, the husband had told them that they wanted them to arrest us. So we weren't even in the house for like 5 seconds. There was no press, no nothing. They kidnapped us that night. And basically after that, what happened? 2 weeks, they had let us go, and we had another court date to go to. Because, they always try to keep it going and pumping the fear. And that's another thing. Like, when you're doing that type of stuff, you really have to be in your power as far as your mindset, as far as like really tapped in, like a knowing of who you are. Because if you're not, all the tactics, it's all tactical. All the tactics that they do, you're playing the situation out in your mind. You're gonna think that it's not gonna work out. You're gonna be in fear, and then once you're in fear, that's it. Because you're playing it out in your mind, and you're attracting it.
Yeah. Also, though, to go back to the house before we got kidnapped that night, they actually, my intuition was kicking in, so I can read their mind. Of course, when you dealing with herbs and health and crystals, you get certain abilities. But so I knew what they were thinking, and they actually wanted to harm me. I say that, and so they said that I was reaching for their weapon, and they tried to. I don't know.
They tried to put him on the ground. They did, and it was just crazy. It was complete chaos for absolutely no reason. But that was the goal, and this was a brother that was leading this type of energy. So anyway, long story short is, I think they had pushed it back.
I
think that it was like 3 weeks later, and we just decided that we weren't even going because we had sent them all this paperwork and they weren't responding. They were like, we're not going. But it's so funny because somebody had said you should go, but we didn't listen. So we ended up
tribunal. Yeah.
At this time, we didn't have anywhere to live, so we're like, okay, we need to figure out where we're going to be sleeping. So that's when we had tried to claim a vacant property, thinking that everything wasn't going to be as chaotic because that was dealing like with a multi-million-dollar like corporation. So
we checked out a vacant property, and also I'm gonna let y'all know too that at this time the so-called mayor had put a post out about
she is the mayor of the
of the corporation, but the mayor of the corporation in the District of Columbia put out a post about 4,000 properties were vacant, and so we went to go claim one of the vacant properties. And
that's not why, but she did it the next day after they had kidnapped us. We were in that property for almost a month. And the court date, this is how crazy, this is how you know that we were supposed to be at that court date though, because, and I say I'm using court date loosely because we know it's not a court, it's, tribunal. But this is how you know that we were supposed to be there, like on a spiritual level, right? Because the same day that we were supposed to be at that tribunal and we decided not to go, we literally got kidnapped at the other property for a whole entire different situation the same day. And it was like 20, when they came to get us, it was like 20 constables and they had their guns out. We only had feathers, resin. It was just like insane. You know what I'm saying? They were like in the front, in the back, and they were actually sawing the locks. Like this was insane. And prior to us even, it was a lot of stuff being done because they had put us on television and we didn't even know that had happened. And once that had happened, we felt like violated. And like it put more fear into us, like, oh my gosh, this is like on TV. You know what I'm saying? And there was no press.
Fear doesn't exist.
I'm just saying at that time when we were in that mind space, we're not in the same mind space as we were then.
Right.
But we weren't in the mind space to be doing that, is what I'm trying to say. So you really have to have a strong mind. But they were just doing a lot of tactics to keep us in this fear state, if that makes sense.
They were trying to lower the vibration.
Right.
And
so then there was others. So during this whole entire time, before we decided not to go to the court day, right? We tried to, basically change the venue because it was an incorrect venue to the district court. We could not even get we tried to do it face to face. We could not get into the district court because every time that we sent our documents, it was some problem or something weird. We tried to go to the district court and they refused to let us in. They were saying that we needed a motor vehicles association license and realize, you know, all this stuff that they usually do, which is not even supposed to happen at a district court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we tried to go through the Supreme Court as well, and they actually had a constable outside of the Supreme Court who was so hostile. They had constables at the door because we had left straight from the district court and walked to the Supreme. I think we took like a car to go or something to the Supreme Court. We did. It was a car to go. And you know those cars that you can just rent and they're just little and you can drive them to wherever you go and drop them off. So we went there and all of the doors were like security at the doors. Like it was like they knew we were coming. The man came out and he started asking for our IDs and all this craziness. We're not even in the courthouse. We're outside of the Supreme Court just trying to give documents. And this is not like normal protocol. So not for being outside.
Right.
We couldn't even get in. So it was just very hostile to the point we still had the car to go rent it and we were going to drive it back to where we needed to go. We thought that they were going to try to pull us over and arrest us or something. So we just decided, it's like that feeling and that intuition. We just decided to take the metro. Like it was just such an eerie feeling going on.
Mm-hmm.
They were pulling out everything to keep us in fear. And I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that like that's the territory of, you know, one of the most Masonic cities
district
in the world. And it was just, I can't even explain to you the hostility it was insane. Yeah. So do you want to go ahead?
You're almost done. Go ahead.
I know. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
So basically once we had skipped out, we had got kidnapped and they held us for like 5 days. So we went into the next day, 5 days later, we went into the tribunal and it was they had somebody sitting for the person that was supposed to be there. The magistrate's name was Weinstein.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. So that guy actually ended up letting us out, but we had another court date within the week. So we had a different energy, a more fearful energy when we were talking to the other guy, but he didn't have the same energy as the other magistrate anyway. So when we came back, you know, I don't know, we was feeling way better. So we brought the flag, the Moroccan flag, you know, to the national flag, and we just was laying it down. And the dude Weinstein, he was completely thrown off. He was not expecting us to know that much, to be that confident in what we were saying. And he actually ended up pushing it. This was back in, I want to say it was either early December or late November. He pushed
2018?
2017.
2017. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. He ended up pushing it all the way to March 26, 2018.
Wow.
That's how far he pushed, because he was so thrown off. Like he did not expect us to come with that much energy and, you know, just knew what we were talking about.
And he also forced us to go and check into a
pretrial
services without being, you know, convicted of anything. So now it's like going to see a parole officer, probational officer, what was it, like 3 times a week or something like that?
No, it was just once a week.
It was once a week for 3 months.
It was insane. And it's crazy because now you're in like a broken record mode almost, where you have to keep saying the same thing over. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like now over.
They're trying to put you into a contract.
Right. And what happened after that? That was very frustrating because we were trying to figure out how to stop that. But the thing is, everything that we were sending, they were just completely ignoring. It's like it wasn't even happening, you know, in their mind.
So we were sending documents to the tribunal and they received them and they weren't responding. You know.
The district court, every time we send them stuff, because we decided, okay, they're not going to let us in. We're just going to keep sending them paperwork. They kept trying to tell us that, you know, we had to pay $400 filing fee and, you know, the protocol to that. But they kept denying it, or like the so-called judge would deny it. I think it actually was a judge, though, but would deny it. It was
to wrap that up. So long story short, we got kidnapped twice on two different cases. And the thing is that we know now that we didn't know back then was that you have to know it's always a spiritual side to it. You know, It's always spiritual. So you might have the knowledge, you might have the you might know the law and everything, but you definitely have to know it's another side to it. And I know you mentioned something earlier about
I talked about etheric because
that field.
That realm, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry. I just want to say to the people, we see your there's a lot of questions. We're just now seeing it. Yeah, we did. To Divine Sovereign, we did do that.
Yeah. But it's a spiritual side to it too. So I think we talked and I said that you can have the information, but you definitely have to know the spiritual, which means breath. So the etheric or the energy that's behind.
You have to be in your body. You have to be aware. You have to be yourself, really being yourself. And like, to me, at where I'm at right now, that goes beyond this illusion. So you really have to be who you are, which has nothing to do with this reality. And the funny thing is, in the Matrix, which we watch all the time still, what did she say? Trinity said, he was like, actually, no, Neo said, what are these memories? What does this mean? Because he found out it was in the Matrix and he was on the way back to go to the real world. What does this mean, all these memories? She said that the Matrix can never tell you who you are. That's one of the deepest things ever. So it's like, it just always goes back to self.
Right.
Look at all of the ancient teachings. Even if they flipped it and did this, the spiritual truth behind all of those texts is still there when you're tapped into it. You can really draw the knowledge out. And the one thing is, even though all of that was traumatic, it was such a blessing, like the jewels and the gems that I got from being in there, as far as like just unlocking DNA, all the things that I wanted, I was receiving on like a spiritual level. And it's like everything happens first in that realm, and then the physical realm reflects. So it's like, you got to be aware that you got to take care of like your emotional wounds, your family stuff, and then also like karmic stuff. That has nothing to do with like your, this life. So it's like, there's a lot of layers to it. Like, I mean, an onion would be like an understatement.
You got to work from that root chakra all the way up to the crown.
And the thing about all that's one of the things that I think on a spiritual level that they were trying to do to us, is they were trying to make it so traumatic that it put us back lower into the chakra, back to the root. And now, we have no way to build ourselves back up. But it completely did the opposite. So it felt like a win. And
it was a win.
It was.
It's interesting that you would say that about what they were trying to do to you, put you back in your, in the lower chakras. And what comes to mind is what the world is going through now with this, with this pandemic.
Right.
It's it's a global pushing down via fear, and control tactics. And it's really, getting people back into, to this lower, people that were rising up and at least you want to be at your heart chakra. You want to be at the part where, because that to me is a place of balance. When you get to when you got your heart, when your chakras are spinning right and all that, but when your heart chakra is emanating, then you can balance, what is coming in and what's going out. But when they push you down, if you, like I said, I think in the flesh, sort of, they want to get you in your flesh, and your flesh feels pain and experiences like, emotions and so forth. But you all, you talked about meditating. And you shared about breathing when we talked, and and how important that was. But before we get there, let's get back to the tribunal, because you had a couple experiences before. Because I don't want people to think that you just went, you were there for those few days and then you went. It was not that at all. But you had some experiences as you went to the tribunals. You shared two different experiences where there were people sitting there.
Definitely.
That was the last time that was when they actually kidnapped us for a year.
So they kidnapped us, let us go. Then they brought And when we missed the court date or didn't go to the court date because we were going to do documentation, or we did do documentation, and they just ignored the documentation, went back. When they picked us up on the warrant.
So basically, it was the third time, because they had picked us up on the warrant, but they let us go. That's when they pushed the thing all the way back.
And they gave us a 7-day hold, so then they let us go.
Right. So basically, we have went the last time that we went before we got kidnapped for a whole year.
March the 26th, 2018.
Right.
That's when we went. And when we showed up, they had 12 judges from...
According to the magistrate.
Yeah, 12 judges from the Kingdom of Morocco. From the Kingdom of Morocco.
This is according to him, because you have to remember that he's not a judge neither, and he was claiming that he was. So...
So these people were sitting, you said, in the where a jury would sit.
Yeah, the jury seat. Yes.
And they were in their garb.
Garb, turbans.
They had hijabs on. They didn't have, nobody had a fez on. Nobody was on a fez. They had hijabs on. So they had, what Muslim and Muslims are seen as today.
And how did the magistrate describe them to you, or as to who they were and why they were there?
He said they were just watching. I mean, it wasn't even like this. And
guy. he also implied that they were the real
Moors.
Yeah, definitely.
It was definitely one of those implications or whatever, but it was another way to try to intimidate us or throw us off from whatever we were saying. And the crazy thing about hold on, before I go into that, do you want to talk about the children too? Because that was the second time.
That was the next day, because we had the 2 cases back to back. And the next day, the same magistrate brought in a lot of children and let them watch us. It was just they was putting on a show to set up the children for the next generation. That was
were these Moorish children?
Yeah, there was more children.
And they brought them into the courtroom to just observe.
Just to observe 2 melanated, I guess what you would call us.
2 Moors.
2 Moors.
Yep. This is what's gonna happen to you if you get out of line.
To the children. To the children. Yeah, to the children.
And what age group were they? I mean,
they were elementary school.
Elementary school.
Some of them might have been like 11 or 12.
It could have been middle, but they definitely looked like it was elementary school children. I'm like, wow, they really stooped that low to bring some elementary or middle school children to the actual tribunal to watch us get, let's say, what you call that, sacrifice.
Yeah, as an example, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it was an example for sure. They were doing a lot of stuff. They was pulling.
Oh yeah, another thing that he said, that the magistrate said was, you have no rights in this court. In this tribunal.
This guy was awful. Well, first of all, his name is Weinstein. So
it was Weisberg.
Weisberg, okay. Yeah. Still, so now you're dealing with based off of that family name, but also just on the when I was asking for delegation of authorities, he was playing so many games. He was like, what did he say? Oh, I have a letter from the president. Will that do? Things like this, and he actually brought that letter. At one point,
it was a declaration. I think it was the Declaration of Independence.
No, it wasn't the Declaration of Independence.
He
was saying it was a letter from Trump when he got assigned to his position or whatever. He was playing a lot of games, and it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, you know how they do.
I mean, it just goes to show you, if anything, even though they were ignoring us, it just goes to show you that it's really a kangaroo court, because they're not even serious. It's just they're not even saying things that make sense. They know the law, but they're not saying anything that makes sense. It's just chaos. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just to throw you off. And if at the moment that you accept any contract, the game is over, because that puts you under their jurisdiction.
But they can, like I said, it just goes back to spirit. So
it goes back. Yeah, it definitely goes back to being in that energy, in that divine energy. Because if you animate a vibration that's so high, a low vibrational frequency cannot even
it's not going to get through, because you're being what you are. But it was a lot of games and tricks, and they were doing a lot of tactics. Not only they were using the media, they were using their military forces, and they were using their political power, as far as we can't get into the courtroom, we can't do this. The mayor was ignoring our stuff. Like they were they were using all of their stuff. I'm pretty sure that they were using occult power too. I'm 100% sure that they were doing that too. So, you know, I had many days where I felt distressed. Many days.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we wound up getting kidnapped for 450 days.
It was a little less.
But it was a less because we, you know, worked.
It was a little less. I really don't know why on my part, because I was just released randomly. I don't know how or what, but I was at the point where it didn't even feel like I was in jail. Like that's how in touch I was. I was really in touch with that power. And like I always call it for what it is. It's a God power that we all have the ability to access through meditation. And I was in meditation. For me, I was in meditation probably like 8 to 9 hours out of the day. I was in meditation. And even like in my movements and the things I was doing, I was just always in meditation. I didn't really talk too much to too many people. I stayed to myself. And then I did days of silence where I didn't even say anything. So at one point, you know, my mother, she would come up there. I think the last 5 months that I was there, I didn't even allow people to come visit me. So I just stayed in meditation because I was just getting so many revelations about my life, my, you know, like my family and stuff like that. And just about myself and things that I need to change and work on. Mm-hmm. And it just became empowering. It became really empowering and emotional experience.
It takes you back to your purpose. You know, it was time to reflect, you know, because in this world, in the matrix, you always moving. You working, you trying to sustain yourself, your family. And
that was like a war. Like it was so tiring. Like it just felt like I didn't even feel like at peace when I was working and I was like unconscious. When I started doing the declaring and we went into that battle, like you better be ready for what's coming at you, because it was so exhausting, like dealing with all of that.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah. And I didn't even get to say this. The amount of agents that you know, ran up on us every single day, even when before kidnapped.
Yeah, because
this is before we were kidnapped. Just showing up to the domicile where we were at in the middle of rainstorms, in the middle of the night, asking, you know, like, oh, you know, just random dumb stuff. But you can recognize the energy. What else? Coming up to you while you at work and stuff like that. But yeah.
I'm just reading everything.
Did you see that question about the court date?
Right. Yeah. That's what I was looking at.
Which one?
What day they used? Can you tell me the court date? There was more than one, but if you're talking about the one that we got kidnapped on, it was right after Spring Equinox. That was on March 26th. And then we had a second court date, and that was March 28th.
27th. It was the next day.
No, it was a space. 26th and 28th. There was a 28th. Space. And you know, so-called 2018. That's what it was. Yeah. So that's why it's so crazy, because when I was in there and I was getting all these downloads and unlocking all this information about myself.
And it was happening in both, you know, as me as well, even though she was in her own section. I was
well, now talk about that, because initially when you all were sentenced, you were sent to separate institutions, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I was sent over to like the men's jail. They put me on a max unit, which, you know, with people who had life sentences, and this was my first time being kidnapped ever. So I was actually surprised, because I was looking to go, what you call it, looking for probation or some community service or something like that. Okay. And when they said like 450 days for what they charge with
fraud, unlawful entry, and failure to appear.
Yeah, unlawful entry. So that's, let's say, so-called trespassing, and they give you, you know, a year and a half worth of whatever. So they sent us to separate prisons. Put me on the max block, sent her to a women's prison, and eventually I had to manifest my way to, you know, where she was at.
Well, she was in a co-ed. You were in a co-ed. Mia, you were at a co-ed facility.
No,
you were.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But they were like it was crazy. It's like, stay away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So
I mean, they had men and women in the same facility, not together, but different
yeah.
floors. Yeah, okay.
Different
And so
floors.
you were at a
More men's.
men and maximum, like we're hardened,
Yeah.
murderers and lifers, and okay, they put you there. And what happened? How'd you manifest out?
Well, the first week that when I first got there, the first week, somebody actually, they got stabbed up for a bag of chips, and it was so crazy. So in my mind, I was like, oh man, I need to get up out of here, because the mindset of people are gone. Like they, they used to, come in and out of jail, but they was just like, you gonna stab somebody over a bag of chips and actually kill them for a 25-cent bag of chips? That's crazy. So I was trying to get up. I was trying to find my exit. Like, how can I get up out of here as soon as possible? So that was my mindset. And so they locked down the jail, and it was locked down for like maybe a week or two.
No, it was a week, 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some what you call them? Some attorneys or some
they kept trying to put attorneys on us. So they sent them there. And it was two different guys. So one guy came there. We didn't know that this was happening at the time.
So one guy came to see me the day after the stabbing.
16 days. Hold on. 16 days in. That's 7. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
16 days in.
They came to see me the next day after the stabbing and was like, hey, we'll let you go home if you just go back to the tribunal and apologize. So
obviously you didn't.
No, definitely didn't apologize. And
yeah, they came to me too, and it was a different guy. And they was like, when they came to see me, the CEO came to pick me up, and she was like, oh, your lawyer's here. I'm like, I don't have a lawyer. So they're like, well, I don't know, they don't know what's going on. They're just doing their job. So I went in there, and that dude I'm already upset, obviously, because I'm in jail. I don't perceive any way of me getting out. And also, I'm like, why is this guy here? Like, I don't want to see his face after everything. So he didn't even get a chance to ask me any questions. I don't know what. Obviously, he was trying to propose the same thing that the other guy had proposed to him, but I didn't give him an opportunity to ask me anything. I was just asking him the same questions. I was just staying the same. So it was crazy because it's so dramatic in a way, because I ended up leaving, like walking out and being like, I don't know who this is. This is not my lawyer. I don't know why he's here. I don't have a lawyer. I have no idea why he's here. But that just goes to show you that, they don't work.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we obviously know this, but no, they don't work for the people.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Because you're not my lawyer. You didn't write any of my papers. You didn't write anything for me.
Right.
And you're here saying that you're proposing something.
And I even also
who was telling you? And I asked him that. I was like, who sent you here? And he was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I'm like, well, you're not my lawyer. Because he was calling my mother, because my mother, she's not declared or anything like that. So you know how that goes, right? So basically, my mother had tried to call him at one point, or no, she gave him her number. And basically, he called. I had a whole conversation with my mom about how that was a huge no-no and not to do that. And my mom, once I tell her stuff like that in a situation like that, she respects it. So he tried to call her when, I don't know, I forgot, a couple of days before they kidnapped us for a year. He tried to call her, and he was yelling at her on the phone, trying to get information about where I was, what I was doing, and all this craziness. And she called me and told me. So I had brought that up, and I was just like, you tried to call my mom, you're harassing my mom. I was like, do you understand that you're co-conspirating? Like, what are you doing? And he was red, like he was caught. So, I left. I thought I thought they were going to let us out, honestly, after that. Because I was like, I'm still standing on my square. Like, I don't care that y'all have had me in here for so-and-so days. Like, I'm still going to be saying the same thing because it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So, long story short, that happened after 16 days. So time was passing, and we just had to accept what we were. Like, okay, we need to adjust to the way life is now, and make the best of it. With what you got. Right. So the first thing I did was made a calendar about, okay, and just start marking off the days. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I had a calendar.
Had to, work out and read certain books. But like I said, because I was talking about manifestation. So the way that I manifested it, one way is just writing it down, like writing what you want to manifest down, putting it on a list so you can see it every day. That's a tool that I use to manifest, to make it over to the co-op jail,
from the Max block.
Yeah, from the Max block where I was at. And it took
some time.
It took some time. It took at least about 2 months for me to get off of the Max block jail, like 60 days. Or it was either 60 or 90 days, but it took a while for me to get from the Max block jail to where she was at.
Right. So that was so during that 2 months, we didn't talk at all. Mm-hmm. And like family was just, they weren't in alignment. I'll just say that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it was really, we were by ourselves. Like, we couldn't talk to family. We didn't have any moors that we could talk to. We didn't have anybody's number that we knew by heart.
Yeah.
And we were just by ourselves. So a few books that I was reading was like Buddha Brain, just like all meditation stuff. Buddha Brain, Power of Now.
The Alchemist was a great book.
The Alchemist.
Secret of Shambhala.
Just all like spiritual books, occult books.
How about the Circle 7?
Circle 7.
Definitely.
I couldn't get one. Now he actually ended up, the stuff our spiritual power was so crazy because we had COs getting like passing notes. We didn't have any finance. I had lost my job. We didn't have any money. Or so-called money. We didn't have any Federal Reserve notes. We had no form of currency except the energy that we move and shake with. Mm-hmm. Our energy was getting stuff done. Never been to jail. I'm not even from that area. Yeah. So I didn't know anybody. So I think he ran into some people.
I ran into some people I went to high school with, and they were surprised, like, whoa, what you doing?
Why you?
Yeah,
like, definitely.
Why are you here?
Yeah, they was like, whoa, you know how I go. I think I'm the only one that drank so much tea, now I have to use the bathroom.
But so anyway, okay, go ahead. So anyway, so basically, I was working in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. The CO was actually bringing him upstairs weekly to like see me, and I would actually get to talk to him, actually give him a kiss. Like, wow. Stuff that was happening, it's just a testimony to like how in tune we were. Mm-hmm. That people just wanted to do stuff for us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was just like, I really felt that spiritual energy. Like I felt like Allah was really working. Mm-hmm. And I could see my own power. And that's what it all was about the whole entire time, about me knowing my own power, me protecting myself, because in some of the decisions that I made, it wasn't always based off of my intuition. And it was about following your intuition, being true to yourself and your feelings and how you're, and all of that. And I had days where I was in complete bliss for like days, so present and bliss. And I'm now at the level now where I realized that I was entering into different dimensions.
Wow.
So I would have states where I had no fear, no hate, no nothing. Like, definitely. I'll be walking. You would have thought I was in like Aruba or something, the way that my energy was. Mm-hmm. And I was interact. And you have to remember, the foods there are horrible. Yeah. Like what they're giving you is horrible. And, we maintained our veganism while we were in there, but it's just like, it's still not good food. Like, it's not great quality food. And they experiment with people in prison. Mm-hmm. So that even goes to show you that even all of this propaganda that is now out to the public, they're using that as a way to keep people scared of them so that you don't realize your power. Because obviously, if it was that serious, I would have never been able to activate the energies within myself if it really could stop me. None of the stuff that they do can stop you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? When you have that power and you're tapped in, there's nothing that they can do, and they can feel it. People, when I go places, they can feel my energy. You know, they don't, people in jail didn't crazy. I'm talking mental ill people. They respected me. They did not mess with me. They're like, COs wouldn't even come into my room, in my cell.
Definitely. And let me say
it was
this,
insane.
Did not get into not one fight or one altercation at all.
Argument.
At all.
I did get into an argument, but
well, for me, nothing at all.
But that was just
time.
about like
spiritual,
about knowledge, about like history, and just because people be calling me black, I'm like, I'm not black, and you know, people don't want to accept that. They start then also about dogmatic beliefs like religion and people trying to figure out what are you into?
Yeah, they did. They did have moors. You know, they had a temple, and
not for women.
Yeah, for the men, they had at the Max Block jail, and also the co-op. They had you know, temples in jail, and also so it was some, you know,
for them, for women. But that just goes to show you that they have to suppress the women. The women are not receptive to the information like that.
Yeah.
The men are way more receptive to knowledge and wisdom and understanding and all of that. Women,
but
it's hard.
Let me tell you this. The thing is,
like, no.
Tell you this. Some people, because I was saying that because we know that what black means, a lot of people are stuck in that mindset, especially in jail, you know, because subliminals, you know, the movies and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know themselves. They program. So it was a battle because, you know, I'm a Moor, and you had the Christians. They wanted you to be, you know, on their side in prison, and then you have, you know, Muslim brothers that wanted you to be on their side. School. And then it was a handful of Moors, you know. So, you know, just how it is in the world, you know, handful of Moors, Christians, Muslims.
Yeah, but then those handful of Moors were like, you know,
they can bounce back and forth into the matrix and back into when it's temple time. They bounce back into spiritual, you know.
They're not staying on their mission, on what they're supposed to be doing, and on their principles and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was on both sides. Like, what you will find is no matter how dogmatic people are, they always stray from whatever they claim they believe claim what their principles are. They really don't even know what their principles are. You know, it's just like, you know, my family's a Christian, but you're not following any of the doctrines that come with that.
Yeah.
But you want people to agree with you. So it's just insanity.
Let me say this too. And at that time, right, I watched a video, like right before we got kidnapped, I watched a video of Taj. And he was like, yeah, they kidnapped me for, you know, traffic tickets or something. I was in there helping people with their case. I tried to do the same. I tried to go and do the same thing. And it didn't work.
I didn't do that. I wasn't trying to do
it. It didn't work for the mindset that people were in. I'm not sure what time frame, you know, he got kidnapped in, but
that was because it wasn't part of your mission.
Yeah. That was one of my missions to learn that you can't uplift everybody, you know.
Absolutely.
You can't uplift everybody. But the main thing is, you know,
uplift
save yourself. Yeah, save yourself. So it always
that's enough. Like, you can really raise the frequency just with that.
And when you uplifting yourself, you helping the world. You know, you helping everybody else.
Yeah. There's so much going on, you know, about the 5G, the restrictions that they're trying to impose, this new normal that they're trying to get us to agree to. And I know other people are going to, even besides the people that are online right now, you know, live, other people are going to see this video. And I'm always hopeful that some information that comes from, you know, office hours is something that we, as the collective consciousness, the collective, you know, body politic of Moors, can take away and implement even on their own, but have a universal effect. In other words, you know, you talk to me about meditation and breathing, and so, you know, you all gave me a spiritual bath recipe.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah. How was
there was a lot of little black stuff that came.
Right. Or becoming cleansed.
Well, it was, some of it was dead flesh and other things that don't normally come off, but being in this spiritual bath and as a man, well, let me see. I'm on.
Yeah.
So there's my white cloth with my
wax.
So with the wax, with the wax. So I did keep it. Excuse me, y'all.
It's all great.
I really felt good. I visualized as best I could with the white candle, and but I spent about maybe a half hour, just in the water. It took about a half an hour to do my 3 dunks, and I realized that I need a soaking tub, one that's a little bit deeper. So when I do my renovations, I've already put it into Grand Chic. I want a soaking tub, not not the little one that's in the floor. But it was and of course, I was thinking of some of the ingredients, but I there was no burning or anything that nothing adverse that I felt. And then of course, I topped it off with this, and and I slept like a baby. Yeah, I slept. But back to my original. Let me put.
Did you want
want us to give the ingredients?
Well, you could, you can, you can give the ingredients.
Or you can just drop the link below, however.
Okay, or you can type it into the comments where it says post comments. You all, if you want to, can type it in. But
we'll type it in later.
Yeah, but as far as what people can do, because there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of uncertainty. They're starting to reopen, I guess, all of the states. Magically, they're opening up partially, because I don't know why they might as well, they should have never closed them. But anyway, now that they're doing it, they've got people that have gotten used to not going anywhere, and they're getting, they're getting a check, and they're like, well, I'm spending more time with family. I'm, getting in touch with my, like you said, you spent 400 and some days in captivity. And so it was an experience where you begin to discover yourself. You learn to do without a lot of things that you think that you can't live without, and then you find out I didn't need it anyway. And I think a lot of people are going through that now, especially with the shop. Well, I'm not sure, because I think I do a lot of online shopping, but those that are used to going have, cut back on, unnecessary expenditures and so forth. They've been getting probably more quality time with their children, their family, and so forth. But then it still looms, the news broadcasts are still telling us crazy foolishness, like, oh, it's coming back in the winter or the fall, and it's going to come back with a vengeance. And the only thing I can say to that is that they went back to the drawing board, back to the lab, and they're trying to, like, okay, this was the scare one. This was just the scare. Now let's come back with something stronger. But we also know that there was something underlying, probably that dealt with the economy and so forth that was happening, and politics, or I call them politricks. But in the, notwithstanding all of that, what can we do? What kind of exercise can we as Moors do, and something put in our routine? Because you gave me something to do whenever I feel like my energy's a little bit been muddied and so forth, and I want to cleanse myself. You gave me that spiritual bath recipe, and I will use it whenever I feel like I need that. But what can we do? Because I don't know, Mia, you were going to I asked you about a demonstration, and you were talking about the breathing, because a lot of us have issues with the breathing. And it's funny that this particular thing is attacking supposedly the lungs and so forth. What would you give?
Corona means crown, so it's like it's probably it's attacking the crown chakra most likely. But.
Okay, you're connected to it,
But once anything is out of balance, it affects the whole entire body. Because I got this download about this whole 5G thing before everything popped off, and we don't even have enough time to talk about it. But if maybe we'll do it again. We did a psychedelic trip, and I got a lot of information from the higher realms. This was about prior to this China and all this craziness. They actually let us know about this before, that it was coming. So the 5, we've been pumping the shungite and the orgonite and all that for a long time before all of this came out to people that we know and our family. And then also, when we do our tables, we would talk to people about it.
And also healing mandalas.
But I was saying that the 5G, especially if you're not somebody that meditates all the time, I will do a demonstration though. I'll do a demonstration.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, well, about y'all know about the 5G. Now I was just saying that everything is vibration, and if you think about a virus as well, and we normally don't even talk about coronavirus because we know
we don't want to give it any power.
Yeah.
We don't want to give it any power, and we understand that it's mental.
Yeah, everything is mental.
Everything's mental.
Everything is vibration, though, right?
Right.
So let's think about a virus like HIV or AIDS. Have you ever seen HIV or AIDS being airborne? How do you
heard of it being?
Yeah.
Right.
How do you pass on that virus? But go ahead.
Sorry. So anyway, so about the 5G, that was it's hidden. They're saying that it's in the respiratory, but from the download that I got, that's what I was saying. The download that I got is when they're sending out these frequencies, right? So this is the comparison. I'm gonna try to break it down the best way I can. When you have an astrological chart and you're being squared, it's challenging. So if you look at history and astrology, right? Anytime that there's a squaring, there's like a war or some significant event, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your life, it could be like a family disruption, some type of challenging energy in your life. When it's a trine, it's harmonious. So we know that the sound om creates a tetrahedron, and that's one of the most high vibrational sounds on the planet. So what they're doing is they're using sonic waves and they're shooting triangle, like they're using a frequency that sends out the shape of a triangle to make the energy more challenging. So that's one download that I got on that. Also with the 5G and the towers that they're doing, right? The chakra spins in a certain direction. So when the chakras start going, you know all about that, right?
With the Reiki.
Right.
Anytime we know that they hit the etheric field, that always gets hit before that. The chakras build up that field.
Mm-hmm.
So when they hit you, basically it's making the chakras go the other direction.
Okay.
Counterclockwise. The wrong way. Yeah. But yes, it's making the chakras go the other direction. So basically it's throwing off your equilibrium. Now you're talking about, disease manifesting, and the average being does not meditate, does not cleanse their chakras through breathing meditations, postures, and things of that nature. So you're just going on day to day to day, and you're not cleansing those chakras. Meanwhile, they're hitting you with the sonic squares, and then they're also hitting you with the 5G.
Yeah. Now you said trines before, but I was going to correct you. You meant squares, though, right? Because you said trines are harmonious, and it's the squares that are disruptive, challenging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the main things that help us would be, the first thing is we get up, and before we do anything, before we eat, we meditate. I mean, we do yoga. That's the first thing that we do.
We do yoga.
It's yoga. And
a breathing exercise after.
And a breathing exercise right after that. And Mia going to show y'all a breathing exercise.
I'll show you one that really is phenomenal. It might be a little bit challenging, but there's 2 that you can do. And I don't mind demonstrating, but I feel like people know, but I could be completely wrong. So the first one is that you inhale. So you inhale for 4. You want to count while I do it?
1.
So I'll say it first. You inhale for 4, and then you hold for 16. Then you exhale for 4, and you hold out for 4.
Oh, for 4. Okay.
For 4. The hold of the breath, the holding, the retention of the breath, that's 16 counts. So it's in for 4, so the 1, inhale for 4.
2, 3, 4. And then
hold for 16. Let me do it.
And that might be a long time for, beginners. They're holding, your breath for 16 seconds. So
another one that you can do is you can just do breath retention, just in general. So just your natural breath, whatever you are comfortable with. You should always challenge yourself though. So if it's hard for you to hold it for 3, easy for you to hold it for 3, but hard for 4, challenge yourself to hold it for that 4. But you want to make the exhale longer than the inhale, because it brings the release and the relaxation and releases the tension that you've gathered from being in different auras and etheric fields.
And remember that your aura is 9 feet, so you touching people before you even get up on them, you know, 9 feet away.
Right. So that's why it's so important to do that. But this is energy cleansing. And then when you start adding into postures, now you're creating more space. But that one where it's the hold for 4, and I can do it really quick. So I'm gonna do it real quick. You want to count? I don't mind.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
all right, ready?
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I counting to 16? No.
He's counting on her own, probably.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're doing it wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I lost the
I
number.
like it was supposed to be 4 out, right?
4. It's
4, 16, and 4.
And then 4 again, because you got to hold it out. So it's really important to retain and then also hold out as well. So you want to hold in and hold out. Very important.
You got these people wearing these masks and everything is just coming back. You know, I see people riding down the street in cars with masks on alone.
I don't understand that.
And I can't.
There's no reason that you should be wearing a mask.
Because, hold on
really quick though. The mind, the breath, and the attention, the focus and attention is the same. Attention, not intention, because that comes after. Those are the 3 most powerful things on the planet.
Say it again slow.
The mind, because man is mind, and the mind was here before anything in existence.
All is mind, yeah.
So the mind, the breath, and attention, which is the same thing as focus. That's why it's all about focus and yoga and postures and staying focused and using the breath as an object in a way to keep your intention. Those are the most powerful 3 things on the planet. And if you can do that on a disciplined level and do it every day, no one can touch you, because your power and your manifestation and your intention is going to be insane. It's going to be like that. And it takes time. So you really have to be disciplined. Like, don't think that.
Say that. Yeah, I'm going to say that about that, because you all say every morning, the first thing you do, you know, you do this, you do that. You have discipline, you have regiments that you follow. And as a result of them, you know, because of course, I've complained to you guys and said, oh, I need to do this and that. And you've, told me some things, and I've got to do them. You know what I mean? And like, some things sometimes people think they can't do because they've been so entrenched in the matrix, because everything, even down to the things that we've decided that we can't live without, as far as foods that are really harmful to us. These things have been programmed into us. And, like they say, it takes 21 days to create a new habit. And most people, just fall off before they get there. But for instance, every day that you can do the same thing that's good for you is your day further away from that thing that was bad and closer to a new habit, a new lifestyle. So, for me today, like, it was odd, but I buy salads, for instance, and most of the time I let them go bad in the refrigerator, or the elements for salads. And I was like, why am I doing this? So today, the only thing I've eaten today was salad and tea, and I think I did have some like a corn chowder, which was, everything was veggies, So, but I didn't need anything else. You know what I mean? I didn't need bread, and I didn't need even a veggie burger or anything. Yeah. So it's so when I got whatever time it is right now, I'm saying, well, look, if I do that again tomorrow, and the next day, my mind is now saying, how you think you're going to feel? How you think that gut that you're complaining about, where is it going to go? It's, because it's full of what you put in. You said you are what you eat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's a big one. You are what you eat. And you have to understand that fruits and vegetables have higher consciousness. So when you eat avocado, you eat a tomato.
I ate avocado today.
Yeah, every day. It's information, higher information. It has a consciousness, and each plant has a particular a certain amount of information, something that's different than the last one. So now you're talking about information, and everything is recorded in the planet. So these plants have these recordings. They're the same. They're parts and versions of ourselves. So,
somebody told me, and I don't know who I was. I don't know whether I was talking to you all or who I was talking to, but we were talking about the Akashic records, and that person, whoever I was talking to, they were reminding me, because we always, when I was doing guided meditation with the groups for Reiki, I have them visualizing. I said, I got these people doing things that I don't even do myself, but I could take people places that I wasn't necessarily going myself. And I would have them in, connecting with the silver cord and going up into the Akashic realm. And somebody reminded me, they said, you know what, the real Akashic records is you. It's DNA. It's DNA. Yeah. That's where everything is. It's not somewhere out there. It's within. It's somewhere in here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And cleansing is a good thing too, because we did a cleanse where we didn't eat anything for 12 days. And we just did Irish sea moss shakes. This is a while ago.
Tea.
Irish sea moss, and herbs. That's all we did is Irish sea moss shakes and herbs for 12 days. This was before spring equinox. And it really gets you in a disciplined mindset of like not being addicted to things. Like you want to have the power. That's why they always say everything in
moderation.
Moderation, right? Because nothing should have power over you. You should be controlling it. So you control, if you drink, you control the bottle. If you smoke, you control the smoke. It's not controlling you. And when it becomes excessive, it's like you need to be able to check yourself. But going back to what you were saying, as far as like, everything is within, dang. I just lost it just like that, y'all.
It's all great.
You want to add on while I'm trying to bring the thought back?
Well, there's a question there too, if you want to answer that question.
Do you struggle fasting as a discipline?
Do they suggest fasting as a disciplinary measure? If so, what type of fasting? Okay. I don't.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say something about the fasting though, right? I was going to say the first
Islam.
The first 3 days are the hardest days of fasting. The first 3 days. Once you get past the first 3 days, you're great. You can go as many days as you need to,
And as far as like the fasting, I have suggestions and stuff like that, but it depends on your celestial influence, because the thing is you need to look at your chart and figure out what is okay for you to do and what is not okay for you to do. Like you got to go with your intuition. Like whatever fasting comes to your mind first, whatever type of fasting, that's the way you should go. Obviously, I suggest like using herbs, using like fruits or anything like that to do like shakes. But you really have to do the research on like your celestial influence, what type of cell salts and things like that you need. And it kind of goes back to that. But it isn't for me, and for me specifically, I don't know about Antonio, it was more about discipline, like being disciplined, not having like desires, because that's what I was going to say. When you're tapping into yourself or whatever, and you're really becoming aware, you're just letting things happen. You're not trying to control stuff. So not to say that you don't do anything, but you're just going along with the flow. Like you make a list, you do the best you can, you give your 100%, and you keep it moving. You don't get frustrated. You just let things happen. So with the fasting, it gives you that ability to do that, to be more in tune with that energy. And I fasted while I was in jail too.
Yeah, definitely. We both fasted while we were there.
Yeah, you could always turn it down and say no. And I was that odd that you, Mia, were in a cell without a cellmate, or is that normal? Was everyone like that, or were you?
Depending on what unit you were on, and because of like, I don't even know. Let me tell you, I actually had an agent that was following me towards the end of my time, a fake prisoner. I hate to say inmate because we know what that means, but a fake prisoner that was in there. I don't know how they did it or what they was doing, because everything was calculated and intentional. But I got moved to a unit, and I don't know why, and it was like a program unit. So they have like all that stuff that you see like on TV where you got to sit in a circle and talk about this and da 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 da. And it's programming. It's like they're programming and brainwashing people while they're in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
you were saying though, because I do want to get back to your products and so forth. You were saying when we spoke that when you did come out, when you were you maxed out your time because you didn't sign any contracts, but you ended up in a place that was like owned by a
CIA agent.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely. I knew you was going there. But yeah. It was a CIA agent. She claimed to be
she said she wasn't
deactivated
working
or whatever. But
she was working.
And that's how you really gotta watch.
And when I got my nationality.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You gotta watch what?
You really have to watch. Now you really have to watch the people around you and the choices that people can make for you. Because and you really got to investigate the people that are around you, like because that came from a family member who really didn't know the person like that, like they thought that they knew him.
But they just wanted to help us find somewhere.
Were they melanated?
They were melanated.
It was a melanated CIA. Okay.
Yeah. But they were really, for them, they're just like, we want to help you get back on your feet because it was like traumatic for them too. So
and people don't know how serious the movement can go, and
they don't understand.
Yeah,
they have no overstanding. They just not there.
All of the infiltrations of the past.
They're just not there with us. But it's okay because the whole thing happened is because basically I ordered my nationality card, and because I didn't have any ID, and that ended up all the packages. I ordered so many things at the time because I was in the middle of nowhere with no car. Like where I was, it was a piece of land. So I had to order everything online. I was getting packages. It was getting delivered to my door, Nationality card, never got it. Never, ever got it. Asked her about it, and she completely flipped out like she was guilty. Like I know that she had something to do with it.
And that's why somebody put, go with your intuition. Go with your intuition.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And all the packages, like she said, came. All the packages had no issue. The moment that the nationality cards got sent back to us,
they were gone.
And we asked, what's up with the not even what's up with the nationality cards, but where's our mail? Oh, I don't know.
Called the postal office lady.
Call the post office.
And she told us the exact package because we ordered nationality cards before, so we know what they look like. So it's like what packaging they come in and whatnot.
Yeah.
So she told us the exact package and described it to a T. So we knew that she delivered it in the right mailbox. Then all types of stuff. The lady started making up all types of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Like kids steal their mail. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell somebody that prior to them moving in, if that was true? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after going through all that time of being kidnapped, then you come home and thinking that you have a location to domicile for a short period of time.
The journey don't stop. Long story short, it keeps going.
Yeah, definitely.
You still get tested after that. Yeah. And I knew I was.
Yeah. But you came out and you picked up where you left off with regard to, you were contemplating starting a food truck business of vegan food, but you like I said, 360, you came out and blended into 720, which means neither one of you lost who you were, and together, I think you're stronger and so forth, but you have 720 blends. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I have absolutely tried every tea that I have, with the exception of, I don't think I've tried the pure heart yet. I haven't yet. I was going to mix some Pure Heart with the Release, and then, something said, no, you want to drink the Release by itself and see how it tastes alone. And I like the Release. Yeah. So I could mix one and just see if there's a difference. But, Pure Heart is the price. Bamboo. Yeah. You all harvest your own bamboo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that is a delicious tea. I wouldn't even think that bamboo. First of all, I didn't even know you could get it here at all, because I saw it when I was in Puerto Rico. But I didn't know that it grows here. Butterfly water, I absolutely love that blue tea. Yeah. And you sent me a gift of release, and that is absolutely amazing. I had that today, and it looked like it was a little light. It doesn't get dark like the brown, but taste.
Yeah.
You always say it's mild, and I don't know what you call it. It's not bitter. That's what I want to say.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it has taste, but it's not a bitter taste, and it has, and it's a distinctive taste. And then, of course, you all have your smoking blend, your blue lines. Now, you actually have that. You have it in pre-rolled. Does it, when the one that's loose, is that a tea or is that still?
Yes.
So you can either smoke this or drink it, right?
Yeah.
You can even smoke it.
Right. You can smoke it or drink it because the benefits are a little bit different when you smoke it versus you drinking it. And some people, everybody doesn't want to smoke, but the main reason we offered smoking blends is because we wanted to cater to people who were either trying to cut back or quit cannabis, or people that are trying to quit smoking cigarettes, but they want a way to kind of like relax. They're still working on self, and they want to smoke occasionally. So, and that doesn't even mean that you have to be working on self. You might just be somebody that likes to smoke occasionally. This is a good place, a good happy medium, because it actually has benefits to the respiratory when it's inhaled. And over top of that, it helps sleep. Mm-hmm. It's good for like relaxation. It's clarity. It brings higher consciousness. And blue lotus is, it's a sacred herb to us anciently.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
And also says it increases the libido. Is that?
Yes. Great for, it's an aphrodisiac. Damian is an aphrodisiac. So it's great for, I don't want to say it, but reproductive health. Yes.
Yeah.
For men and women. For men and women. Though.
Yeah. It's funny that one of the scientific names on here is like nymphea, like I think of a nymphomaniac, and the other no, this one doesn't have. Well, it has vulgaris or something.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Blue Line pre-roll, and I'm not a smoker, but we talked about the fact that I was having some lung congestion, and you all said, well, this, even though this was created to, for people to, I guess Antonio kind of created it to cut out the smoking, of the cannabis, but you told me it has some other properties, and I found it to be very, very soothing, very, very soothing, extremely soothing, helps to get, a nice restful sleep, makes you feel good, but you don't feel high or anything.
You don't feel clouded.
I remember high from, probably 40 years ago, but so you don't feel high, and you don't feel like you're confused. You just feel clean and clean and clear.
Yeah. And I did want to say something about that smoking. For me, smoking marijuana.
I'm glad you're gonna say something.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, it did enhance my spiritual or my psychic abilities and stuff like that, but it had effects to it too. So
I want to add to that too. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so it can put you in a spiritual realm. Ancestors use that to go into a spiritual or a heightened realm, but it has effects to it too if you overindulge in it. And
you're not supposed to use it every day.
Yeah. If you overindulge in it, it is great. Some people cook with it and, rub it on their skin.
And some people take it for medicinal purposes because they are in pain or stuff. But I noticed one of the teas that I have from you also, I think even the release, it's mild headaches. It takes away headaches,
Menstrual pain. If for women that have menstruals, it's takes away pain.
Yeah.
And that's the release, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah.
All right.
So the release is right there.
Yeah. Nervousness, anxiety disorders, mild headaches, and I'm sure it's even more so than what
the information is on the back, but we just use keywords.
But on the website, you give more details.
Right. And that's why we visit 720 Blends for more information.
I think I see someone said, who did you order them from? And I'm not sure what they're asking because
when you build up the herbs like this, I think that's when they sent that message. But
someone said this would like to they're asking you to share the spiritual bath recipe.
Yeah.
Also subscribe to your mailing list. Your 720 blends, would they email you at 720blends@gmail.com?
Yes, I thought there was a lot of questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We appreciate your vibration and your presence, and we're sending you love and light. If you have any questions, you can email us at 720blends@gmail.com.
We're on Instagram as well, 720blends on Instagram.
And we have videos too.
Yeah, content. We got videos, and it's going to pop up as Bebe.
Baby, it does. Yes.
2 days.
Yeah.
Right.
And then also on our website, 720blends.com, there's videos too from our YouTube, because we do have a YouTube. But we do post a lot of content on our Instagram because people are typically on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if y'all wanted to donate,
yes,
that's Cash App.
720 Blends. Yeah, the $ and then 720 Blends on Cash App for donations.
Okay.
But I saw a lot of people had questions. So if you have more, if you didn't get answered, you can email us and we'll get to you as fast as we can. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, and the spiritual bath.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in.
I guess, like I say, he's more tech savvy than me.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in at the end. But let's see. So yeah, we wanted to talk about the herbs, right? And
let me ask this brother's question. We're based in what is known as Maryland and DC.
Yeah, territorial state, Washington DC.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. So we have the Red Sea Herbal Tea Blend, right?
Mm-hmm. And talk about the different teas. Yeah, let them know.
Okay. So yeah, that consists of elderflower and hibiscus, and that is great for cold and flus. A great source of iron, magnesium, hypertension.
Then it has almost every vitamin A, B, C. So that's really great. And then also, especially for like swollen sinuses and things like that, sore throat, it really helps aid in that. And then we also have
we also have the bamboo as well. So that's one of the ones that we sourced that you said that you tried the other day.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that bamboo is great for cognition. The
bamboo is a must, in my opinion. Like, I can't believe I was living my life without bamboo, because it just has so many benefits. Like, it's phenomenal. It helps all of the toxins that you collect in your body from chemtrails and like chemdome, all of that, contrails, all of that. It flushes all of those toxins out of your body. It's also high in silica. Silica is found on fruits and vegetables, the outside skin. So you're actually drinking that. It's high in silica, high in vitamin B, amino acids, all of those. And then it also is a major, major stimulation for the nervous system, major. And I can actually feel it when I'm drinking it. Like, I feel it working in my like spine and in my brain. And it kills parasites, which we need on a regular basis. Powerful stuff. And it's the freshest. We deal with it. So our energy is in it. And like we told you, we take keeping our energy up very seriously. So we handpicked it. It's something we source. And its silica is actually also found in all crystals. So now it's like you're talking about something that's basically it has a carbon content. That's what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So bamboo is very, very, very important herb to have. I highly suggest everyone get it. And it's always available. Like, we always go out and harvest it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Some things that we didn't get a chance to talk about tonight, though, was things that you put into your body, as far as water, the different types of waters that you can drink, alkaline or acidic waters.
That you shouldn't drink.
That you shouldn't drink, or acidic sodas.
And then hold on, baby.
We got more. We have more herbs.
Yeah, we have more herbs. So then we also have Pure Heart, and Pure Heart has Lily of the Valley, Motherwort, and nettle. Nettle is another one. That's another major one. That's a nourative, and it nourishes the body like eating fruits and vegetables. So nettle is a very powerful one, and it's immune boosting. Very immune boosting. But the Pure Heart specifically, all of the herbs that are in it, they have their heart tonic. It's a heart tonic. So it's good for the heart. It's good for the heart chakra, and it keeps it. It can aid in like heart disease or any type of areas or issues with heart.
And
so yeah.
And another one is the butterfly water, which Dr. G has been drinking.
Yeah.
Well, different. It's like, but it's
we didn't put them. We mixed this one with our hands, so we didn't make it that dark.
But the butterfly water, it consists of lemon balm,
lemongrass.
Lemongrass, ginger, and butterfly pea flower. And that's great for cognition as well.
Memory and creativity.
It improves insight and it releases
eyesight.
I said insight.
Oh.
Yeah.
And eyesight.
Yeah, definitely. Improves eyesight and releases anxiety, because we know a lot of people deal with anxiety, stress,
It's also packed with antioxidants. So we all know that antioxidants is antioxidation. So that deals with free radicals.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's another one that's great for the mental. It's a feminine herb. And I've had a very special experience with butterfly pea that I hope that I can share with you guys a different night.
Another thing that we didn't talk about was the blue light blockers, that protects your eyes from electrical, magnetic frequencies or electrical pollution coming off the cell phones, the computers.
The blue light,
the blue light. And that's what we have on today, some blue light blockers.
Oh.
Not sponsored by anyone, but yeah.
I'm writing this up for you. Look, I'm writing this down. I got this. I'm putting the spiritual bath ingredients in, and I put it down this way. I've said 3 capfuls each, and that means the cap that the bottle is, and I have to say, because you said don't be afraid of the ingredients.
Don't be afraid of the ingredients.
Apple cider vinegar, bleach, ammonia. Right.
3
I said 3 capfuls each of apple cider vinegar, bleach, and ammonia. Don't put them together. Just pour them in the water.
In a big bath.
Don't start with the apple cider vinegar. I'm sorry, I didn't even tell that to you, but don't start with the apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
It creates, just for visual purposes, because it can create a certain color in your tub.
Okay.
Like your water is going to be a certain color. Yeah. You want to be able to read your water without any interference.
But so 3 caps. Yeah, you got it right. 3 caps of bleach.
So you're saying don't put the ACV there?
Don't put the apple cider vinegar first. Don't do it first.
Don't put it in first.
Yeah.
Don't put it in first.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just move it. I'll just say bleach, ammonia, and then apple cider vinegar. Is that or at the end, or how do you want it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. Apple. And then
you want to do half a cup
of sea salt.
Yep. And I got a half cup of fresh lemon and a half a cup sea salt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
One white candle and 1 piece of cloth.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
1 piece of white cloth. Mix everything but the candle and the cloth in a large hot bath.
Right. 15 minutes minimum. And you want to do a visualization. This is something that was passed down to us through a master teacher, and it's excellent. So all thanks
stay in bath at least 15 minutes. I'll see if I
don't know what Gail was saying. What do you
dip under the water 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Completely.
Definitely. And this spiritual bath is great for cleansing of the aura. So
you're gonna feel like a whole new person. It's gonna feel like you meditated, but you have to do 15 minutes.
And dunk your head and your whole body under the water 3 times.
Yeah, you gotta get your whole body in it, because the thing is, if you don't get your whole entire body in, whatever energy is in your spirit or your sphere, it's just gonna travel up and hide in different areas that you didn't dip in. So you want to do at least 3 dunks. 15 minutes minimum in the bath. You're probably not going to want to get out because it feels so good, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to do a visualization, another powerful
White
tool.
light,
White light, gold light.
Yep, the white light, the gold light around your whole entire aura.
And like I said to you too, that I've even done where I visualize my chakras turning. I visualize all of them turning at the same time. And I just start from the root and go all the way up in visualization.
But the main thing is to just pretty much visualize the white or the gold light going around your whole entire body, cleansing your body.
Whatever comes to you though, like whatever comes to you is always important.
So then you pour the candle wax, right? Pour the melted candle wax.
And it doesn't have to be a white cloth. It can be just a cloth and you keep it on you for like 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. Keep on your piece. Keep on you. Okay. 1, 2, 2.
Gil,
where
do you pick?
Yeah, I didn't know. Where
do we pick the bamboo? Was that the question?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to ask right there.
Okay.
Okay, so I just typed the whole doggone long thing.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No, definitely.
We really appreciate you.
Bleach, ammonia, apple cider vinegar, half a cup of fresh squeezed lemon, half a cup of sea salt, 1 white candle, 1 cloth, mix everything in the bathtub. And
not the candle in the cloth, because some people might throw the candle.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So basically, okay, I got it there. I would highly recommend that people would avail themselves of go and visit your website and to. I think you said the only thing that you're out of stock right this moment is
nothing. We have everything. Yeah,
okay, you got everything. So just order it. You order, pre-roll. I know Sister Tamara tried. I gave her a pre-roll, one of the pre-rolled, and she's really Sister Tamara L is a tough cookie when it comes to stuff. She knows what she likes, and she said to me, Dr. G, the next day, she said, "You're not going to smoke that stuff. Give me the rest of that."
Yeah.
Like, no, order. Yeah. I said, you order your own. And at the time you were waiting for your shipment to come in. So I'm sure if she's watching this or whatever, that she will be one of the first. And another friend I talked to, Sister Natura, got her order yesterday. And I told her about it for her husband. And she said that she was going to order that for him.
Yeah. With smoke blends as well, though. It's not CBD at all.
Right.
It's pure herbs. All natural herbs. It doesn't show up on a drug test if y'all.
Yeah, because people always ask us that.
Yeah, because it's not drugs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel
always ask us that.
Makes you feel great, relaxed, and it helps the lungs, helps the digestive system, helps the entire body, clarity, gets rid of anxiety.
And that's the thing about the tea too that I want to point out. All of the teas help with anxiety. That was a major thing because of so much the fear tactics that they've been using generationally. That was really important for us to make sure that everything that we had dealt with anxiety, because that's a major issue on the planet right now.
Wow, that's good. That's awesome. You mentioned earlier, and I know we're just we're not really out of time because we have as much time as we want, actually. But
I like that quote. I mean that comment.
Oh, but I wanted to say you mentioned you were getting downloads because you said you took a psychedelic trip that didn't pass my ears. I heard you say that. And I was going to come back to that and ask you, was that trip from herbs or was it from, as they call them, I heard the young people call them shrooms, shrooms. Was it that And the reason why I wanted to ask you about it was because I was watching a video on YouTube and it was very interesting. And they were showing how in the biblical account of the manna, of what, allegedly every day the people would go out and there would be this food there. remember in the Bible, and they call it manna, which means what is it? Right. And so you've all kinds of pictures of little wafers, and like they had communion wafers on the ground or something they were eating, but it was actually mushrooms. They said that the reason why you see all of these pictures, with the little, looks like the little red top, they were eating mushrooms that allegedly the prophets, or the ones that were getting these visions and so forth, they all ate mushrooms.
Yes.
So they were all having they were getting their downloads from eating these mushrooms. And then they showed all of the instances where it looks like little elves, and the little red looks like the little with the red. That's what they were eating.
Yeah.
We had this thing in our minds that it was these little pieces of wafer. No, the manna means what is it? Manna doesn't describe it. It just meant that when they got it, they were like, dang, what is this?
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
When the thing about the psychedelics, which is so great when you're in a conscious mind and you do this stuff.
Yeah.
I did psychedelics before, mushrooms before, just mushrooms, before I was into consciousness, and the experience that I had when I was in consciousness, it was like night and day. I had so many downloads. It was insane. It was like a whole new level of knowledge. But what I found is the reason that I found out that I was tapping into different dimensions while I was kidnapped is because when I did the mushrooms after I got out, I realized that I was already doing it on my own. So the thing about it is mushrooms are necessary. Mushrooms just in general are necessary for your diet, which we're coming to find out about this in our studies. But psychedelics help you on your healing journey. And you can take the psychedelics and ask them for certain things, like, help me heal from this. What do I need to know to heal from this? What do I need to know to put myself on the right purpose? And it will give you the answers. And it will show you your dark self, your light. It will show you whatever. And my main thing, well, both of ours, and our intention was to connect with the ancestors. And we received so much knowledge. And one of the biggest things for me is that I was already tapping into that type of power on my own without the psychedelics.
Absolutely.
So what people can do with the psychedelics, they can do without them too, through meditation.
Yeah. The psychedelics are just a tool,
Right.
They're just a tool for what's already there. It's drawing. I heard brother C. Freeman say educare, to draw out what's already there. That's a Latin terminology for educate.
Wow.
Educare is educate in Latin.
I like how that sounds. Educare.
Educare.
I could never roll nothing, so it's not gonna sound. It's not gonna sound as sexy coming out of my mouth, but it just sounds good. Say that again. Educare.
Educare.
Yeah. Look, and somebody said, "Yeah, that right there."
To draw out what's already within.
Yeah. Ron Marshall says, "How often do you smoke it?" I know the backpack says you can smoke it day or night, but I guess he must be asking how often is it whenever you want it, need it, or
when we first created the smoking blend and smoked it. It actually lasts. One smoke can last a full entire day, or up to 3 days. Just one smoke.
Yeah.
You feel it the next day. You wake up, you still feel it throughout that whole entire day, and it's but you can smoke it whenever you want.
Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, the goal with everything on this planet is just a tool. So you have to remember you have the ability to access all of these properties within yourself without this. We just need the tools because we're in a constant war every day trying to stay true to ourselves because of all the pollution the pollution of energy, thought, and physical things that they're doing to pollute the earth. So, these things just help us. So it's really up to you. We don't want anybody to become dependent. It's always to rotate everything. On an herbal level, rotate. Like we rotate all the time. We don't just drink what we have. We drink other things too. So we always keep herbs in rotation, whether we're smoking them or drinking them. So it's completely up to you.
Definitely.
Well, no, I'm seeing what people are writing there.
What herbs are in smoking blend
besides the blue lotus? Damiana and mugwort, which is actually a mild psychedelic.
Okay.
Very mild. You can smoke it.
Yeah,
you can smoke it and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, that it like I said, and I'm not one. I had one little trip of from a what was it? I was given a brownie, and I didn't know that you were supposed to eat. It was very good. A young lady that I knew well gave me. She made some brownies. We were at an event, and she said, "Here, I was conscious." She gave me this brownie. It was about like this yay big, and I think I ate the whole thing. Well, I didn't know that's not what you were supposed to do. And so by the time I got from the event to my house, which was about a 15-minute ride, if maybe 10 minutes, I was paranoid and didn't want to get out of the car. I couldn't even figure. I was in front of my house and I wasn't sure about getting out of the car. And I think I sat in the car for maybe a half hour, and then I finally got my courage up and dashed in the house. And then I was feeling really kind of loopy, and I ran upstairs, and I was on a trip. I had a friend who had done the what is it when you go? She didn't go to South America. She's in Washington State.
Ayahuasca.
She did ayahuasca with a medicine man, with a shaman, and she was telling me about this thing. And I kept saying, "I'm coming to Washington State because I want to do, I want to go on do the ayahuasca thing too." Because she talked about how deep and how introspective it was. I'm trying to tell you, this brownie let me know this is all the ayahuasca you need, because I was literally inside myself having a journey, and I was like on a roller coaster ride in my insides, and I was hearing conversations about, this is what you want, is this enough experience? And so I was like, don't need anything else.
Hey, quick question: is that you did a weed brownie or marijuana brownie?
Apparently, I did.
Okay, yeah.
And I ate the whole thing, which I didn't know you were supposed to.
I never heard about not eating the whole thing.
Yeah, well, it was big. It was big. And I don't know if you see my. It was a big square. It was probably. It was just. I was just eating it because it was good.
yeah, definitely.
I just wanted to say to Divine Sovereign, meditation is going to definitely take you on the trip. You don't have to use it. However, women, we store a lot more trauma than men. So, just make the decision based off of, you got to really pay attention, man. Things can slip under the cracks. And a lot, because we're in the world, we get distracted a lot. Like I have not been able to be in meditation at the level that I was while I was there. So you have to it's really harder to pay attention to these little things, but you really got to tap in. And the mushrooms, like I said, psychedelics help you tap into that stuff that you might be missing because you're doing so much, especially if you have children or something.
Yeah. Let me tell you just one small difference that I noticed, though. In that past situation that we were in, when we were kidnapped, I can read a book in one whole day. And I noticed that being out here with all these distractions and stuff that's going on, and sometimes that same book, it could take me at least about a month or two to read that same book, just because of the energy of the environment and
trying to live
and trying to so-called hustle on
really
the land.
Just trying to live. Yeah
definitely.
So.
Well, you all are very I know that you're very energetic and creative. We talked the other day, and understand you figured out how to make a toothbrush out of a certain
out of a stick.
Toothbrush out of a stick. Now I don't know whether I didn't get whether it was a chewing stick or whether it was actually a brush that you created into a brush to brush the teeth, and that it keeps the mouth fresh. And then you even
make toothpaste.
Well, you make toothpaste, but I'm going back to the herbal stuff.
Okay.
A leaf that works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The leaf you can use instead of toilet paper.
Yeah. So if y'all at the store and they run out of toilet paper at the store, don't get upset. You can use specific leaves.
Called, there's one specifically we were doing research about called, blue spur flower, I think. Blue spur flower. It's in
you just got to be able to find it though.
You should be able to go to the store. You got to
do your research. In the house. Do your research. But the blue spur flower is a flower that you can use to wipe your butt. I mean, you know, your butt. That's not a curse word.
But so you make your own toothpaste? Do you make your own deodorants and things like that?
Deodorant, yep.
Okay. Sometimes we make our own detergent too.
Yeah, definitely make our own laundry detergent.
Doing that. Yeah.
You also make tinctures.
Tinctures. Yep. Okay, so that's what we have soon, y'all. I'm really excited about this. I planted this seed on the last new moon, so it's gonna be ready on the new moon, and then we'll get it all out to you as fast as possible because we've been kind of working. You know, the herbs and the plants have been speaking to me like I'm trying to learn that language, but I can feel the connection to like a deeper connection to like America, like the American herbs, the herbs that are actually here. So we've been working on cultivating more herbs that are here in America that have many properties that are considered weeds. People just cut them, just all different types of stuff, and trying to get back to the real resources of where we're standing, as opposed to, you know, the stuff in Europe and Asia. We have resources here that we ignore every single day, and we walk past it. We're just
white clover. I was just looking at my backyard. I hadn't planted anything yet in my raised boxes, and it's full of weeds, but it's not really weeds because there's white clover in there. There's dandelion in there. You know what I mean? There's some purple thing that I have to figure out what that is.
Somebody on to something. Don't say it because it's coming.
All this stuff is in my yard. It's like right there. And somebody, Dr. B. Serious told me a few years ago, he said, normally whatever it is you need is growing right within a few feet of where you live. You know, and every year a different color kind of so-called weed shows up, and it's normally probably something that is needed for that particular season. So absolutely. I was going to go back out today, but I didn't. But tomorrow I'm going to go out and harvest some of the white clover, because I've definitely got white clover. Because I was trying to figure out the leaf, if I could use the 3-leaf clover, because mostly you find 3 leaves, and I brought one 3-leaf with really huge 3 clover leaves on it in the house. And I was going to look up, can you use this? And of course I did. And I had it in my hand. My cat jumped up out of nowhere, snatched it out of my hand and ate it.
So if the cat eat it, and then
that's definitely. And a lot of these, that's how I started, because I did a tarot reading, and basically it was like, pay attention to the animal around you. And I was doing my research on all the stuff the animal was licking, and it had all these different properties, and it just became into this whole another thing. So that's something we're working on for the people. And I want to add about, as far as always sharing about this information, as far as herbs and stuff, it's very important that through our experience, like when you're drinking the herbs, be very aware. This is the reason why I'm saying this, is because the internet, there's a campaign against herbs and holistic things.
Absolutely.
So the first 6 pages of Google, it's shaky.
It's tampered with, man. And if you go back, you can't go back, but 2 years ago, it was it was genuine. You wouldn't find anything like
they still had the people there, but it's way tampered with. You can't find that much information about stuff. If there is information there, like side effects and all this horror stories, they're trying to say all this stuff about agave and
remember how turpentine. I can't believe that's coming up. They put a skull and crossbones on it and said poison.
Yep.
And turpentine comes from a sap of a tree. And
pine
from a pine or whatever. It's a sap from a pine tree, whatever. And it used to be our elders used to take it regularly. And so I remember about 5 or 6 years ago when I was in Atlanta, and I forgot, I was down there with Brother Yusuf L, because I used to be a part of High Frequency Radio Network. And the brother that used to work with it, and I can't even think of his name, he was saying that he and his wife put turpentine on a sugar cube and that they were taking it right. He said, but when they first started doing it, they decided that they were going to do it separately and wait for the side effect. And if one died, then the other one wouldn't end up taking it. And there was like, oh,
Wow.
so we're not going to take it at the same time. But they did. And after the only side effect I feel with turpentine I got was belching. You belch it back. You could taste it, for a while when you're belching, there's a little bit of regurgitation of the taste. But other than that, turpentine is supposed to have some awesome medicinal properties, but it's got like a poison symbol on it because they don't want you to
observe.
Right.
Nutrients. Yeah.
Right, to take the nutrients in it. So there's a lot of things that, we need to go back to the way of our ancients, because you can't trust these pharmaceutical drugs that are coming out. I mean, every
information.
Yeah, the information, plus a lot of times, most of the times, not a lot of times, a few years later, then you hear about all the people who died or were, got some other kind of secondary or illness or, because of the drug. And the pharmaceutical companies are not in this business to heal people. If they did, they wouldn't be tampering with nature.
Right. That's exactly. And you have to be, and that's why it just always goes back to awareness, and awareness is a form of meditation, because there's not that much information. People aren't giving all the information. It's not available like that. And they're even the book game is even muddy too. So you really have to be aware and tapped in so you can know the information. Like your body's going to tell you, your mind's going to tell you, the spirits, your higher self is going to tell you and lead you down the right road. So you really have to trust yourself and really tap in when you're like drinking herbs. I tell people all the time, like when you drink these herbs, don't act like you're just, you have Tazo or something and is running around going to work. Like you need to sit by yourself and really be one. Yeah.
Be one with the
herb.
Definitely.
Because you need to get the information that it's offering you, because it's offering you something about yourself.
Now that's amazing. That's an awesome piece of instruction to become one with it. Don't just, in other words, don't just gulp it down like you're refreshing yourself, but think about in terms of what you're becoming one with it, or whatever information it has to give you. Let it, let that happen, and then feel the difference instead of just.
How does it resonate with your body?
Exactly. How does it resonate? Resonation. Yeah. You got to be in your body to know that. You have to be aware. So that's very important.
And that's one thing when we have our table talks and stuff like that. We ask, like, if you're not waking up every single day with a burst of energy, like you just ran a marathon, you wake up energized, something is wrong. Something is wrong within, and you have to find out what's wrong. Like, what's your celestial, what's the word I'm looking for? What is going on in your chart? In your astrological chart.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you can find that just from awareness. Like a lot of stuff, just from being like, when I got out and I looked more into my sidereal stuff and all of that, I was already tapping into that information, and then it was just confirmation when I seen it. That's what I'm saying. Like the information that we carry, it's insane. Like it really is.
If we would but tap in.
Right? Tap in. But that's a part of the whole, what they're doing. And that's why even some of the stuff, even though they're doing like all this crazy stuff, in a darker realm and occult realm, you need to be aware of everything that they're doing, but you can't get caught up in it, because that's a form of distracting and making them think like you're giving it power. You got to take that power back and be like, okay, I'm aware of this, but I can go beyond it. And that goes back to the question, why don't they want us to be healthy? Why are they working around the clock, making plans? They plan ahead, really. They really plan ahead. Why are they working around the clock to do these things to keep us in these lower rounds? What are they afraid that we're going to activate? And I don't think that anybody, not myself or anyone, even knows what potential we really have if we have optimum health. Like, optimal health. Yeah. They don't know the potential. I don't even put a limit on anything anymore, people like nothing, like whether it's telepathy. Well, I know telepathy we do. I mean, but and levitation.
Yeah, psychometry.
Teleport. I don't put no limit. If they put it in a movie and someone was doing it in a movie, to me, I'm like, okay, that can happen.
Or it's happening.
Yeah, or it's happening somewhere. Yeah,
definitely.
So you can't put limitations on your mind. And if you have those limitations, you have work that you need to do. If you have fear of something, you have work that you shouldn't fear anything. Mm-mm. And if you do have fear, this is one of my favorite terms. Use fear as an engine, not as a brake.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love that. Use fear as an engine and not a brake. Yeah, let it be the thing that propels you forward to do greater things. That's awesome. That's an awesome bit of advice for many of us, because a lot of times even though we know better, we let what we see in front of us stop us from acting on what we know that would be, that we are, even when you talk about your rights, you know what I mean, versus privileges,
Yeah, and be aware of who is implanting seeds in your mind,
That's why you got to be. And that's another thing, because that was a big thing that we did. When we were becoming, switching over into our vegans lifestyle, we stopped listening to certain music.
We stopped watching
TV. Like, we wasn't doing anything except reading and meditating. And it's like those things, the mental imagery, the subliminals, even like for me, I don't even like watching the comedy shows with the brothers and the sisters or whatever doing the comedy, because even though like to my conscious mind, it's like, ha, 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 ha. But like in my subconscious mind, it's just a computer.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just calculating the data and taking it definitely. In. You know what I mean?
You also have to be aware of, when you of watching the script. How come all comedies or comedians, comics, are on the same vibration? They spitting out the same jokes.
Because it's scripted.
They're like the news media, the mainstream.
Yes.
News.
Yeah, definitely.
I used to look at late night talk shows, like whatever those guys' name, and now all you're doing is it's a political commentary every night. It's like I'm not looking at that stuff. Of course, I look at very little TV. I look at YouTube most of the time. I'm looking at my TV. I'm looking at something on YouTube that I want to look at. You know what I mean? That I'm researching, and then I'm careful, because some of the things, like I said, even the things that we think may be giving us good information, may be missing disinformation.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to allow your intuitive self to figure out, garbage in and garbage out. You gotta figure out, or as Grand Sheik always tells me, you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones, but not throw the baby out with the bathwater. So that's why sometimes I can look at a religious, so-called religious preacher bringing truth, and it's normally tinged with dogma, but I can extract the truth.
You can pick it out,
right? Because I used to be a preacher. I was a pastor, and even though, because Grand Sheik always says that they all know, but they don't all know. They all don't know that they're spreading dogma. I didn't know, but when I did find out what I was doing was wrong, I stopped. Everybody can't do that, because that's become their livelihood. But when you get an opportunity to start all over again, you all had to, you didn't have a place to stay. Look at it. You were looking for a place to stay. And you have to be specific, but you got a place to stay for a year, even though it was in captivity. See,
I didn't have to worry about bills. I'm telling you,
you didn't have to.
I said all of that.
Yeah, 3 hots in the cot, whatever, and time to just, like you said, meditate and digest and grow and complete the cycle in and of yourself, so that when you came out, you could be that 720 blend.
Yeah, and to prepare for this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, you got to definitely change your thoughts. You change your life, and that's from the book, Wayne Dyer.
Change, the Tao, man.
The Tao. Tao Te Ching. Change your thoughts, change your life. And that's right. And everything falls into alignment with that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, this has been amazing. This has been wonderful, awesome, and all that. And I guess you all heard at the beginning, but I'm going to play it I'm going to play it as we go out. I'm hoping that you can hear this. I need to turn it up. But last time when I did my first show, I didn't have a theme song. So I was like, I need a theme song. And I woke up like one morning, maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, and I had this beat in my head. I was bopping to it. So I called Brother Hassan Ghaziel Bey, who an astrologer. He has the Astrology Street, but I know he does beats and music. And I said, can you make a theme song for me out of this? And I hummed it to him, and I threw it, Dr. G. And then I even got my own voice in going, saying, that's me. Yeah. And in a day he came back with I think is an awesome theme song for this show, and you all got to hear. You all were the first to hear it. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you were not the first. I'm not. I did let a couple people hear it, but you were the first to hear it. Outside here. But and it was interesting. I said it's really catchy, and then he let me know that when he did it, he used certain hertz. I think it's 444 or something. Whatever hertz it is, it makes it infectious and catchy. Wow. And of course, that's what they do to us. They subliminally program us with certain tones and certain whatever. But this is for good. This is good. I mean, I want people to leave here going, Dr. G. Definitely. So that on Tuesdays, they'll make sure that they tune in and they'll tell somebody about the great guests that are coming on. And again, looking forward to you guys, great success for your company, as a result of this, that everybody's going to be on your website. I mean, I'm sure you have, what do you call them? Algorithms or something. You can see how many people, I'm hoping that you will see an uptick in the number of visitors. Not only visitors, don't just visit the site, purchase something, because your products are awesome. I can tell you, I'm sitting here, and here's the thing. I want to say this, that when we first look, I got all this stuff. And now look, when we first talked a couple of weeks ago, what did I say? I said, listen, let me buy some stuff. I didn't ask you to give me anything.
Yeah,
that's true.
I didn't know what your situation was or not. I asked you to be on the show, but I didn't ask you to give me anything. What you gave me was, you shared your testimony, your expertise in certain areas. And I mean, I think, like I said, when I say literally, we have spoken for hours over the last couple weeks. We definitely have.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to write about you all without getting to read the stuff that you emailed me, because I felt like I know you, and I think I'm seeing some of the comments that are there, and people feel your energy, they feel your aura, and the vibe is I'm glad that we did this.
Me too. I just want to say one thing.
Sure, say two or three.
Everything is in alignment.
Everything's in divine alignment. That's his thing. But we are the true and living gods.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to know it. You have to be it. All this studying that we've been doing, it's important to know the history, but it's important to become those people and so much more, because that's who we are, the true and living gods. And we must be in that truth, not know the past, be the future. And that is gods and goddesses.
Absolutely. You know what? I don't want to ignore, the sister was saying some things about I wanted you all to respond to her. I think she, Sister Divine Sovereign, and she was saying that she needed to learn how to smoke. She asked if she could burn and inhale it because she didn't know how to smoke. I just want to say I don't smoke either, and I was having issues with breathing because I have let me say this: I have a carryover from a previous lifetime when there was tuberculosis, and that was my grandmother who actually came. I don't know whether I'm totally her came back but there's an attachment, and as a result I deal with issues in my breathing and my lungs, and so I do not smoke, but when I picked that the blue line pre-roll up and did it. It has a filter on it. It did not it didn't bother me. Matter of fact, I was able to swallow it down. See, I felt like I wanted to get it down here. And it's almost like a little rotor-rooter kind of. It clears out this area and the esophagus and so forth. So I don't know that you really have to know how to smoke, because that's not what you're encouraging, but it's just, breathe it in and just and just feel it. You may not know how to blow it out your nose, but guess what I did? I blew it out my nose. So it's not a difficult thing. And I think you got them. They come in different, you can get a pack of.
Yeah, definitely. It's an activated charcoal filter that's
it takes out the impurities that's created when it's burnt.
So that filter on the end. So those who are wanting to experience that peace and that calm and maybe clarity and clearing the lungs, I would highly recommend trying that. Really highly recommend that. And again, like I said, you know how we are when we get to talking, we don't know how to stop. And we got a bunch of people listening in on us, but it's like, we all like chilling in the living room. We're chilling
every time we get together,
Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm looking to see if we got everyone, if there was any other questions. Before we go, if there's anybody with any last questions, because we got 4 minutes. We gave it an extra half hour. Islam. Okay. What's a Goku ball? Do you know what that is?
And that sounds like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's
unless it's that's the only thing I know.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, activate our super Saiyan power. I was able to create a Goku ball when I was on it with meditation. Oh, that's what. Okay. Divine Sovereign said that. Yeah.
Know what that is.
Yeah. So okay.
We're all reflections,
Okay. So is that something that's in the that you're seeing? Imagine. I mean, like by just kind of imagining it.
You can imagine it and deep. I'm sure you can see it. I'm sure in deeper meditation. Yeah. That's not something I've ever really focused on. He used to focus on that a lot.
Yeah, I actually seen somebody, do something with their hands and created a ball, and I was like, whoa, like what's that? And I asked them.
You can see it,
and you can pretty much see it once you cleanse. And I mean, maybe some people that's not cleansed, they can do it, but yeah, in meditation, you definitely can create energy balls.
Well, we do that in Reiki. We can reach out and feel where like right now, like I'm reaching out, I can feel the edges of energy here. There's no air blowing in here, but you can reach out and touch and feel how far your aura extends around you by just kind of, and that's one of the things we do in Reiki. Like I'm feeling some way out here, but you could feel it. And but it's something that people probably, it's so subtle. It's subtle energy. So for the most part, people have no inclination that there's something that's extending from them or from others to them, from them to others. They don't realize how we intertwine. That's why a lot of times people say we are all one, because there's the mixing of the energetic level, and it's important that you keep yourself, like you said, everything in divine alignment, but you have to become, able to maintain your position. If you walk into a situation where the energy is different than yours, say it's negative, you want to be able to be a thermostat and determine the temperature instead of a thermometer to just register.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, definitely. And we understand too that everybody is not going to be on the same frequency, like that radio on the same station at the same time.
Right.
So a sister asked a question, or a few people. Where do I get mushrooms from? Email us,
well,
but
hey, that's hard to get.
They always watching.
You gotta get you a mushroom book and go
just
out.
Email us.
And go out
about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And as far as what is the best frequency to listen to, I don't listen to anything while I'm sleeping. And if I did listen to something, I don't.
Did they say while we sleeping?
What is the best frequency to listen to while sleeping?
Oh, okay.
I don't listen to anything while I was sleeping. If I did listen to anything, I would record my own voice and play it. I don't listen to nothing. I'm very big on self. I don't listen to nothing that nobody has out there. I just listen to whatever sounds and tunes that come to me. And we've even talked about creating like stuff for people to listen to.
Creating some affirmations or
but I don't usually listen to anything sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I can't trust everything that's out there, you know?
So that's like a self-judgment. Like you're gonna have to, pick up what makes you feel great.
Follow your intuition on things like that. Yeah. Like that's the best guide because I don't listen to anything.
But maybe that was a question for you, Dr. G.
Maybe you have something.
Yeah, what type of hurts did he put in the music, when he created
what did he put in here? I think he said 440. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can go back to something, see if I can find it over here. But I know we specifically, and it was the kind of I'm just gonna look really quick. Okay. What did he say? What does he say? Okay. Virtual is 444.
Oh wow. 444 hertz.
Yeah. He says office hours with Dr. G theme. Virtual instruments tuning is A4 equals 444. Yeah. And then C5, which is 528.01. So those two hertz is what he put in it. Yep.
And that was is it Joanna that asked that question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I do listen to, there's some sleeping meditations that I'll pull one up on YouTube and then set my TV to go off within like a half hour because it's not going to take me that long. But I'll have that sleeping meditation playing, and I don't know when it went off because I probably went to sleep way before it played. I never even set it for as long. Maybe sometimes they run for like 3-4 hours, but if you have a TV with a timer, I wouldn't have a TV on me all night long. Maybe 30
and stuff that can pop up.
Right, 15, 30 minutes. And I know you all said that you all were hit with the
EMF frequency.
EMF frequency. So yeah.
Before they kicked up the 5G and everything like that. But sometimes things can seem like it's a personal attack. So
yeah, it seemed like it was directed.
Yeah. So you definitely need crystals, you need organite, you need shungite,
and occult knowledge.
Occult knowledge.
Like precious metals that you can keep in your house to protect you. Certain metals, certain dusts, like brick dust, I think you can use for protection as well. Yeah. There's different things you can use.
Because if you don't know how to protect yourself, you open for an attack. You leave yourself open. You keep dropping your fist down, you're gonna leave yourself open for attack.
Absolutely.
So you got to become I would say so-called spiritually strong, or what's another word?
You got to build up the occult knowledge.
Build up your occult knowledge, your magic.
Very important.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing they use.
Yeah. And sometimes people can hit you with something and it come through somebody that they use people that's in your bubble. Yep. That's going to get on you. That's going to lower your frequency. And I ran across something yesterday. I was reading, and it said, learn what ticks you off. Because once you learn that, and you can work on how to not get ticked off, and no one can drag your vibration.
Harness the energy. Yeah. Because you don't want people to be in control. You want to be in control of your energies. You don't want other people to be in control.
You don't want to give your energy away. Not to your children. You don't want to be yelling at them, all day long.
Not to anyone.
Not to anyone. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, listen, this has been wonderful.
Yeah. Yes.
And so what we're going to do is, I think what we're going to do, we're going to say good night, but and not goodbye. Yeah.
And you could finish with the song too, right?
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out how I could bring it up so that they won't see my little banner thing pop up, but I'm probably going to put a banner over and cover us up just so that they could go out. So we say peace and love, love. And like I said, Islam, and please get you some tea or some, smoking blends, but definitely get you some tea and support this brother and sister because they're doing an awesome work. And if there's anything, I'm sure that you've heard that they've shared that you might have an interest in, that they might be able to help you with, their I did put their email up before, but it is 720blends@gmail.com. And I'm pretty sure it's also on their website. And, just tell them you heard them on Dr. G's show so we can kind of know, where they're getting it. And tell somebody else, share this video because this has been very informative. We were able to sandwich, between, in between the bad, we made a sandwich of that stuff because it really wasn't as bad when you looked at the end result as it could have been, because you all came out so much the better, the wiser as a result of it. So I want to thank you, and I'm going to go out. Go ahead.
Much love. No, thank you, Dr. G, for having us.
Really
Mia, you got me to and I did patronize Sister Selena, and I bought the products, and I washed my own hair. And while it feels great, it looked horrible because I don't know how to twist it right. So of course I had to put this on it because I get my I don't know.
I'll let you
I've said Omen on that.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you. We're gonna talk on the phone because I have something I've been using to do my hair, and it's not twisting. But I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, because I go on Thursday to get it done. But I want to say, and we always give a shout out, but I appreciate you for recommending those products to me, and I've gotten. My sister Tamara ordered today as a result, because I told her, I said, this stuff is awesome. It's just that and my hair feels thicker and everything too. But it just wasn't something I wanted to show the world today. So
definitely.
Okay, you look great either way.
Much love all y'all that tuned in tonight with Dr. G, office hours with Dr. G.
Yes, share this video. I mean, I got to get them used to Tuesday nights because when it comes to Friday, we may have 300 people, 400 people on a Friday night, but because this is also going to be on YouTube, those same people have a chance now to go back and say, oh, now they'll know, they need to tune in on Tuesday nights too. And I know this won't be the last time. You all will be back, and we'll have some more information and go into some other things. And I really appreciate you all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the little banner up or something. I'm gonna figure out what I'm doing because I'm learning too. And I'm going to go out with my new theme song, and hope you guys enjoy it. Love you.
Love you too. Much love, everyone.
Love. Peace, y'all. Dr. G. Really? Who's she?
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really? Who's she?
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really? Who's she?
Yeah, that's me.